Hello, it is June 10th. Welcome to the Park Bench. My name is CParks. And today we've got some video games to talk about. A whole bunch of them. How do you feel overall about the last week? It did feel a little busy. Yeah. Oh my god. Hold on. Wait. You're muted. Say who you are
Oh
again.
my gosh. Oh, I'm Golden Rose Cake. Why
How-
would you do this to me?
How was the last week?
The week was busy, and now it's infuriating. No, yeah, no, it was a really fun, but like also like I did that thing where I overloaded my brain by trying to remember too many video games and too many played too many demos and whatnot. But yeah, I also played a bunch of Mario Kart.
It's a fun busy.
How about you, Christopher?
It's a fun busy. Also busy, but not as fun. Not quite as much time for the same thing. I went to the Switch 2 launch, which on West Coast was 9 p.m. And that was fun just to be a part of, and do that kind of thing again. Played some Mario Kart, played some other games on Switch 2, and then I got to watch the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the Summer Game Fest, the three big ones. Yeah. I watched those live.
Okay.
Which was nice, and then it's playing some catch up on basically the rest of the stuff, just here and there.
So I watched State of Play live, I watched Summer Game Fest live, and I watched Xbox Game Showcase live. But then I went back and I watched Day of the Devs, Wholesome Game Direct, Women-Led Game Summer Showcase, Latin American Game Showcase, Southeast Asian Game Showcase, Future Game Showcase, Screen Game Showcase, which was bad, Frosty Game Fest, and RPG Direct, PC Gaming Show, Black Voices in Gaming. I watched 11 showcases this past week. I don't know why.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize also is like there's the main attractions to Summer Game Fest, which are the three that I mentioned, and then just like a ton of surrounding things that always have cool stuff included. Like there's always something in every one of these showcases, I think.
Yeah, I think it like really speaks to it that like I watched the three big ones and I was like, oh, okay, good games here, good games here, good games here. Stuff I'm excited for, yada yada yada. We'll get more into that later. But then when I watched the smaller ones, the more like indie focused ones, more or less, that's when my wish list on Steam exploded. I think I added like 150 games on my wish list, which my wish list is already outrageous, but it's now at like 1,750 games or something like that. But it went higher this week in particular.
Yeah. All right, so we've already kind of discussed it. Today's topics, we've got our Switch 2 impressions, our Mario Kart World takes. Oh my gosh, thank you for the subscription. Just gonna throw that out there. We're live on Twitch. Thank you for subscribing.
Whoa,
Glanton Redux.
That's my guy Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, Park Bench. It's a live show, and it goes up on YouTube later. Switch 2, Mario Kart. And then right into all our showcases that we've got. We've got our Sony State of Play, which kicked things off, our Summer Game Fest main event, our Xbox Games Showcase, and then our Steam Next Fest, which is also very exciting, which just kicked off right after Summer Game Fest ended, which I didn't catch that was happening until it already happened. Pleasantly surprised though. So let's start off. Switch 2 impressions. What do you think?
Well, first of all, incredible that I was able to get one. Literally the day of on launch day. I gotta put my Switch back so I'm gonna disappear from camera. Wow. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try. I couldn't get the pre-order. I'm like, I'm just gonna try. Drove to Walmart, walked into the Walmart, saw Switch 2 in like the glass behind like all that stuff, and I went, I don't know if that's just a display box, because when you work at GameSpot or GameStop for a long time, they're like, here's a display box. So I go up and I'm like, hey, Switch 2, and he goes, yeah, I got one. Come over here, and I go, okay. So then I bought a Switch 2.
He took you around back. He opened his trench coat.
Yeah. He sold me someone else's pre-order. No, but I got it. I went home and immediately spent the next hour doing the data transfer stuff and blah blah blah. It was like 30 minutes, not really an hour. And let me tell you, I am typically not the like incremental like upgrade person. I haven't gone on my way to buy like a PS4 Pro, PS5 Pro, all of these like kind of induced things. This isn't technically that, but I would say like at its heart, the Switch 2 is just the Switch 1, but way better. Like it does everything the Switch 1 does, but just better and more interesting.
Yeah.
So like in a certain sense, it is kind of like the Switch Pro. And I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too.
Now I get to play video games better.
Yeah, it's weird. Why isn't this connected? It's weird having also Big Funyun, thank you for the subscription to the park bench. 2 of them today. Way to go.
Yeah, look at that.
You really pulled your weight here today.
Always am.
It's interesting because my first thoughts, not my first thoughts, but like quick thoughts on Switch 2 was that it did kind of feel like an incremental upgrade, like a Switch Pro. I didn't watch the video. I saw a headline from Jeff Grubb for a video that said something like it's the Switch 2 Pro or it's the Switch Pro or whatever. And yeah, I'm okay with it. I've also never bought the mid-release upgrades to a system. I have the Series X, but that it launched like that and then just also has a lower grade. But yeah, this feels good. It's like, as of right now, and I'm hoping it's just because there's like not a lot of Switch 2 exclusives. It feels like how the Switch should have felt all along.
Yeah.
Which is weird because like for the majority of Switch games, I never really had an issue with like a lot of these like loading screens, slowdowns, whatnot. But now that they're gone, I'm like, oh damn, this is kind of nice actually. And I'm pumped about that because going back and playing Switch 1 games was one of the things I wanted for the Switch 2.
And I wasn't 100% like really sold on it until like we talked about it like last week when I was like, I really did see the difference between Pokemon Switch 1 and Pokemon Scarlet Violet on Switch 2. And like about half of my game time on the Switch 2 has been playing that game now that it functions like a real game.
That's cool.
And like it's good. It's like unfortunate that like that's just the state the game was released in on the console it was released on to begin with. But now it's like okay, I get my little treats. I don't need just like I would of course like a bunch of exclusives at launch to like make me super excited. but at the same time, I now have like these rejuvenated older games,
Exactly.
which have been like carrying my time with it when I'm not racing on the Mario Kart tracks.
Yeah, and I'm hoping by hopefully by the end of the year, but it could go longer than that. I'm hoping it starts to feel more like a new console. Um,
Hmm.
with like Donkey Kong coming out. Um, with I don't think they showed a date for it, but they announced a new Splatoon spin-off today.
Yep.
Splatoon Raiders. I don't know if I
Hmm.
saw a release for that, but there's games being announced for Switch 2. So that's exciting, and yeah, hopefully it starts to feel like a brand new console and not so much as like a nice upgrade.
I think when we get more and more into like the weirder aspects of the Switch too, like I haven't really got to mess with the PC, like the mouse controls,
Okay,
um, because like I just don't have a lot of games that
that use
utilize
that.
it.
Yeah.
I did get to see big fan of the pod, big friend of the pod, Big Funyun, um, use like the motion controls for Cyberpunk, and that worked really well. It was really fun. Um, and I got to mess around with like the mouse controls for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the same time, like I just they're not utilized in these older games. So
Yeah,
um,
I used it for the Switch's main menu.
there you go.
And I turned to Tara and I was like, look, there's a mouse on screen. And she was just like, okay. And that's been my time with it. I tried playing um well, I did play Pikmin 4. Went back and played some more
Hmm.
Pikmin 4. Um nothing was announced for Pikmin 4 for upgrades or anything, but I was like, man, what if I could just use a mouse control with this? What if that just worked? And it didn't. And it does seem like something that could
Hmm.
work for that game really well. Like I feel like mouse controls in my brain confirms like, oh, we got to be getting a Pikmin 5.
Hmm. And I think you do eventually get that update for the Pikmins. I mean, in general, I think the mouse controls is such an easy layup
Yeah.
for Pikmin
Mhm.
because it's like already an RTS on console.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, damn, this is
um,
already over.
and I think you really, really just want to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
but I haven't gotten to play
yeah.
much else with
Hmm.
the mouse controls either. Um I yeah, I just don't think I have anything. I'm gonna throw up that Splatoon thing real quick, which you know, when we started talking about it, DJ Spay in chat said, "How does it differ from regular Splatoon? Engaging and interesting gameplay." Okay, how do you feel about Splatoon?
Splatoon is neat. Splatoon is a game I like in concept more than I like playing it, mostly because I'm just not the competitive like video gamer, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um I like cooperative games way more. And Splatoon is a team game, so like
I
there
think
is
I
that
opened the wrong
cooperativeness, but I've just never
thing.
had
Did I show the wrong
um
thing? No, no.
um but at the same time, it's like really, really neat that like you get to go in there and like it's fun. It's like a kid's third person shooter. It's really neat. You can play it with motion controls. Um DJ Space is really funny.
Oh yeah.
Um, and but I'm excited about this new one. It seems to be a new take. It seems to be possibly a single player campaign. It seems to be maybe there could be a co-op campaign in here. It looks really good. Um,
I mean,
and I want to enjoy Splatoon more.
I want to enjoy Splatoon more. When I've played Splatoon, I've been like, "Oh, this is neat." Let me turn my camera on. I'm dark as heck. I'm so unprepared, everyone. I'm tired. It was a big long week with a big long stupid work day. I want to enjoy Splatoon more.
You don't even know what we're talking
Where
about.
am I? Um, and every time I have played it, I'm like, oh, this is cool and fun and neat and quick to get into and get out of.
Mhm.
But I just never go back to it. There are cool modes in it. It's got that uh horde mode sort of
Mhm.
thing that I can't remember what it's called.
Salmon
That was
Run.
fun. Um, Splatoon, yeah, I think Splatoon as a concept is more exciting to me because I love that Nintendo took a third person shooter
Mhm.
and made it so kid friendly,
Mhm.
um,
I
but
hope
also good.
Splatoons get made forever because like the music is incredible. I
Yeah.
love the music of Splatoon so much. It's like the best part of the game for
Hmm.
me. Um, so I hope that the series never stops.
And then something else here that they're showing now, which we were going to talk about a little bit, is along with the Splatoon Raiders announcement, they announced some new updates to
Hmm.
Splatoon 3, which hopefully is a trend that continues for other games where they keep uh, updating Switch 1 games with new content and improved visuals and new controls and whatnot for Switch
Hmm.
2.
Yeah, when the Switch 2 launched and they're like, hey, we have updated stuff for Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, certain games will run better, kind of stuff. I was like, okay, this is the list. This is the list that we got.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of like was a pleasant surprise of being like, oh, wait, maybe we will get update for something like Animal Crossing or Mario Odyssey. Just, I'm throwing out games now, but like the possibility now exists that we can get just more good stuff for old stuff.
Yeah, and again, highlighting DJ Spay today, uh, they said Nintendo should try to bring a new mascot in. Arms failed. That's kind of what I said last week too. I was like, I want to see Nintendo come in with a new IP this generation.
Mhm.
They have done it for like generation after generation where it seems like there's like one new IP. Some hit, some miss. But I'm hoping that there's like a new genre that Nintendo hits with a new mascot.
Yeah, what do you think is the next I can't remember. We might have talked about it before, but like do you think there's a genre that you want them to
I
really try their hand at?
I think I said some sort of Souls like.
Yeah.
I think
Yes, 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 yes.
if it's some sort of action adventure or let's see Nintendo do something roguelike.
Hmm.
Um, I think any of that would be neat. Those I guess roguelikes are still
Hmm.
newer. Um,
You take Wario Land for the GameCube or whichever Wario that game is, and you make that into a Dark Souls. I got
holy
it.
crap!
We're right there. We're right in luck.
That yeah, no, that sounds great. Give Wario. It's I mean he's not a new character, but
Mhm.
yeah, give Wario a an a roguelike or a souls like or something.
And like you just have the souls be the money he lost. Bang, we done. I did it. I did it.
Yeah. Um yeah, overall my Switch 2 impressions are positive, however. My clickbaity stream title is if Switch 2 and Summer Game Fest was overhyped. Um I don't think Switch 2 my expectations for Switch 2 have not uh overhyped what this launch has been. This is about where I expected to feel about the Switch 2.
Hmm. I'm right there with you. I was excited and I played it and I got to mess around with it and it feels exactly how like I kind of wanted it to feel. Um, and I'm adequately my hype levels were met. I'm not I'm not like completely blown away. I'm
Not
not, but
completely.
I'm not disappointed either.
Mhm. Mhm. And then there is one pretty big game for Switch 2,
What
Mario Kart
what
World.
what what? You should have led with Nintendo World Tour, like, and it should have just been bang,
We're not
bait
doing
and switch.
Nintendo. No. Okay, you want
Which
to talk about Nintendo Tour for a second? I haven't
no,
played it.
no,
You know
I
why?
really
Because
don't.
it's $10
I want.
and it doesn't. Nintendo doesn't deserve my $10 for that game. That game easily should have been. Astro's Playlab was free.
Yes, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
You got a beautiful game.
If this was a pack-in, maybe I'd be being like, "Oh, it's a nice little wonderful thing." But no, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that game. We're talking about Mario Kart World, um, which is the Switch 2 game.
Yeah, the system seller.
I think there are other games, like you mentioned, Cyberpunk earlier. There are other games that I think are really cool, that they work and run nicely on Switch 2 now. But this is Nintendo's game, and this has been most of my time with
Mm-hmm.
uh the Switch 2. How much have you played?
Mark, I played what feels like 10 hours, maybe a little more,
Mm-hmm.
because of like a lot of my time was split watching and playing all these demos. But I played about like 10ish hours of Mario Kart World. And I am not disappointed. I like it. I have a couple hiccups with it, a couple things that I'm like,
That's a
I don't
Nintendo
super
game,
love it.
though.
Yeah.
That's every Nintendo game to
Um,
me.
for sure. I'm going to, on this show, probably not give scores for anything because I don't think numbers attached to things is very interesting,
Okay.
which means listen to the words I say. No. But I really do like it. I think like to the point where if our viewers know me or they don't know me, I can get pretty sensitive really easily about like there are like just emotional things, and bear with me. I get playing Grand Prix. That's the name of this mode, and I get to Rainbow
Grand
Road,
Tour would
and
have
I'm
been a
sitting
good
there.
name.
Grand Tour would have been a great name.
Yeah.
I get to Rainbow Road, and I'm playing here with my good friend Alex, and we are playing the Grand Prix. It's the first time I've seen Rainbow Road. We're listening to the music, and you've gotten to Rainbow Road, right?
I've gotten to Rainbow Road, yes.
All right, cool. I'm listening to the music. I'm racing. I'm in first because I'm always no. And we are battling at it, and then when the music transitions, because in Rainbow Road there's like 4 or 5 laps that are just different parts,
Just
and
different segments
all
of
the
it, yeah.
music tracks are segmented to be like this is the song that's kicking in, that is Nintendo 64 Rainbow Road. Like it's a remix of that, and then there's one that's a remix of other. Like it's a very big celebration of Mario Kart as a whole. And I started tearing up a little bit, and I'm trying to race, and I'm in first. I'm like, I'm gonna lose because Mario 64, Mario Kart 64 Rainbow Road song is playing, um, and it just like hit that like nostalgia child part of my brain. I was like, I love this game, except for all the things I don't love about it.
Yeah, sure. My experience with Rainbow Road was not as emotional, but I enjoyed it. I didn't pick up on the music because I was locked in. I was too busy trying to beat
Hmm.
that Toadette CPU. Which I did. Don't worry. Um, I
Proud of you.
thought the track itself, though, it's interesting because in Mario Kart World,
Hmm.
um, the Grand Prix are you do your typical race, 3 laps, and then you everything after that is segmented.
Hmm.
You
Yes.
travel to the next track, and then you do 1 lap on that track, and then you travel to the next track. You do 1 lap. You travel to the next track. You do 1 lap, and that's the Grand Prix. Um,
Hmm.
I enjoyed Rainbow Road because I think how it worked is I think you started off where you did one like
Giant line.
yeah, you traveled you did one section where you traveled to Rainbow Road. That was like the first lap or the first segment. And then yeah, it was
Hmm.
just like 4 or 5 segments of Rainbow Road after that, which uh I liked, and I think like you said, it helped be kind of like a celebration of Mario Kart because Rainbow
Hmm.
Road is such a staple in the series and it's such a big thing. And I thought the track itself was cool, and I thought there were some
Yeah.
wild segments in it. Like there's that one segment with the like satellite that really tripped
Hmm.
me
Hmm.
up. But was also cool because again, it's still Rainbow Road. Um,
Hmm.
but just like visually and stylistically kind of changes up for a minute, and I don't know.
When you see the train going along with you, and I'm like, oh man,
Yeah,
I
it's
was just
got the
like, this is great. This is
characters
good. This is
from
good.
the rest of the game, like dinosaur. I think
Hmm.
it's the cows. It's got all
Hmm.
the safari animals. Yeah, that was cool. It's not the first train that you've seen in Rainbow Road. There's other.
No,
I don't know if all of them have a train. Now that I think about it, but
we must investigate. Is
but
there a train in your Rainbow Road?
I do know there's trains in other Rainbow Road, so I don't know if it's a throwback to that or what. Um,
I think it must be.
some of the things that I really like about this game compared
Hmm.
to eight, one is the different ways to play. Um,
Hmm.
in Mario Kart 8, I would do, or I did do the Grand Prix, and then once those are done, I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm just going online and doing online Grand Prix, doing online verse races. And maybe it's the Mario Kart formula, maybe it was just eight. That wears on a man, you know, like just doing these Mario Kart races over and over again and
Hmm.
just getting blue shelled into lightning bolted into crushed by the mega mushrooms or whatever it is. Like Mario Kart can take a toll on you. But if that starts happening, I just go into the free roam and I just
Hmm.
like cruise around and I just casually find little challenges and do the challenges. And while I'm doing that, I'm getting better at the game and uh I'm feeling more confident. And then I hop back into knockout tour, and then I do
Hmm.
knockout tour, and then I'm in first place, and then I get hit by a red shell, and then I'm down to eighth place, and I need to be top 12, and then somebody comes by and squishes me, and then I get 13th. Um, and then I go back to free roam, which is great. I love it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think free roam is what's going to keep me coming back because I can keep playing the game, but like take a break, kinda.
Yeah, yeah. I think free roam is like an excellent addition, just like for again, like as you said, a change of pace,
Mm-hmm.
and for just like the kind of theme parkness of it, running around. I like seeing the little Yoshis that are like hitchhiking, the shopkeepers. Um, like all of that is so cute and adorable, and like there's a lot of little like mini storytellings. You're like you see a Toad that's in a cop, and you're like, of course you'd be a cop, Toad. I know you. Um, and like I love that. That being said, it does like every mode in this game has a weird Nintendo decision, and this one is there's no real way to check like how many P blocks there are anywhere in the map. There's no way to mark them on the map. There's nothing like really like how do I track progression? Like, and maybe that's not the point of the mode. Maybe Nintendo doesn't like me checkboxing, check like doing a checklist and just knocking everything out. Maybe they just want you to explore, which is fine, but that doesn't mean I like it that much. But that being said, it's still a joy to like drive around.
Yeah, I think that's my like frustrations with this game where I'm like, why did you do this, Nintendo? Has to do with like them not showing us things. Like in
Hmm.
free roam, I've done like however many P switches, I've found however many question mark panels, I've gotten peach coins. How many more do I have? I think each area only tracks one of those. I can't remember which one it is.
Hmm.
It might
It's
be
the hidden block like
it's
symbol
it's the
ones.
panels.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I know. That's the only thing that I can like keep progress of. It's
Hmm.
like, oh, I've still got 4 more panels to find in this area. Um no clue with anything else though, how many I have in that area, how many are in the game, anything.
Yeah. And like, so like if I were to checklist it, I'm gonna have to look up a list of every single stamp in the game and
Yeah.
find out where the stamps I have missing. But the stamp collection also isn't very organized. It's just like, here's all the stamps you just unlocked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then
it's
the other
not
thing
happening.
that I think is an annoying thing, which won't matter to most people playing Mario Kart World,
Hmm.
it's the hidden stats on the characters.
Yeah.
Um, Hidden stats aren't new. They had them in 8 as well. I
There's
just
an archaic formula they have
I
where
just
they like,
don't
this character is a light heavy. I'm like, okay.
I don't understand why they don't show you all of a character stats. For example, I don't know if this is something that you've seen or knew about. Wario and Waluigi are the same speed
Hmm. Hmm.
statistically. If you put Wario and Waluigi next to each other on a road, Wario wins. Wario's faster. And it's because Wario has a hidden stat where he's just a little bit faster on concrete roads.
Which is crazy. And honestly, like, if you showed me those stats, I would think that's such an interesting and fun way to like
Yeah.
differentiate characters. Why hide them from me? Why hide them?
And then Pianta, faster in the water. I imagine the
Hmm.
dolphin is also a character that's faster in the water, which is like, it's cool because it's like, oh, I'm doing this track next. I want to switch to this character because they're faster on this, on like the majority of this place's terrain or whatnot.
Hmm.
But no, Nintendo's just like, you don't, here's a generalized stat for speed, and it just kind of is an average of their speed across every terrain. And then also, every character has a different jump height. Every character has a different mini turbo boost.
So funny. It's such a
And none
weird,
of this is
weird
presented to
system.
you. Um,
Hmm.
and then like,
Because kids wouldn't understand, Chris.
and also to go along with that, in a more like general case for most people, the game doesn't have any sort of like tutorial.
Hmm.
Like there's a lot of stuff in this game where like it just like
Yeah.
does not do a good job telling the player that like they can play like in this certain way and there's these different mechanics and whatnot.
Yeah, free roam is like supposed to be like you get to mess around, you get, and like the P block switches are teaching you certain more advanced mechanics.
Yeah,
They're teaching you like wall riding and whatnot, but like that doesn't help you if you don't have the Mario Kart knowledge. But that being said, like, I think it should have a tutorial, but Mario Kart 8, like one of the biggest selling games of all time,
ever. Yeah.
like the Nintendo, again, a weird decision, is probably like, oh yeah, they get it, they know what Mario Kart
It's
is.
Mario Kart. They've played Mario Kart. Everyone's played
Mhm.
Mario Kart.
Yeah,
We didn't
like they know
completely
how to
change the
go.
formula to this game.
Yeah, you can now wall. You can hold a jump by not to hold it like a jump by not going left and right because that would cause you to start drifting.
Yeah,
You hold it, then you let go, then you can wall ride or grind. I'm like, okay,
which are cool.
neat.
I will say one of the things that is going to be fun for me to watch as this game progresses is all the different routes that people take in this game.
Hmm.
Um there are so many different ways to finish a track. So many different routes
Hmm.
where like some of them classic ish Mario Kart style where you need like a mushroom to get through.
Hmm.
In this game, a lot of that is just like off-road stuff. Like
Yeah.
you need mushrooms or a golden mushroom to get through off-road like shortcuts. Um, but then there are just crazy things that like my brain hasn't fully wrapped my head around grinding and wall riding. So I miss these things, but then I watch people play and I'm like, oh yeah, if you just wall ride on that canyon wall and then jump
Hmm.
over to that railing, you just cut through this whole part of this whole corner. Um, and so like seeing people optimize routes and lines, I think is going to be fun and wacky.
Yeah, it will like eventually like I think
Paper.
cause the gap between people
Oh, absolutely.
like who actually want to learn these like kind of advanced routes
Mm-hmm.
and the people who just want to play the game. And even like if they want to play the game like have really good lines and whatnot, it might be a little too big of a gap to bridge by just playing well instead
Yeah.
of learning the uniqueness of each track.
Oh,
Um
also another. Sorry, to my
go.
rant from earlier about Nintendo not giving us information on how things work. Coins.
Hmm.
You know how coins work?
So coins historically increases like your top speed.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that was
Um,
20 of them.
there's 20 of them in this game, which is twice as much. And the way that I have uh seen tested the way that coins work is I believe 20 coins will
Hmm.
give you roughly a 4.5 to 5% top speed bonus.
Yeah.
However, each coin isn't adding an equivalent amount of top speed.
Oh.
So like
Yeah, cool. So it's like,
so
yeah.
like the first coin you get adds like a percent like plus a little bit. That's
Hmm.
like the first coin is like a whole out of the 5%, the first coin you get is like 1%. Um and then after that, every coin slowly adds less and less until you get to 19 and 20 where they go back up again.
That's so funny.
So it's like eventually
And
every coin is giving you 0.1% more. And then it's like 19 gives you 0.3 and 20 gives you 0.4. So it's like the first coin is a percentage plus, and then the last two coins are
mhm.
also almost a whole percentage.
So like again, like why add that? Like why not have it be an equal, I guess like I don't know, to make you feel 19 and 20 more because you're less likely to get there because of getting hit and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But it's still like it's so wacky. It's
it's a
just
weird thing.
wacky.
It's a weird decision,
Hmm.
and also Nintendo doesn't like share any of this
Hmm.
information. Um, so it's just weird.
Uh
Again,
yeah.
for the casual play, for like 99% of the people playing, none of this matters. But for me, this matters. This matters to me, and it's just weird.
For things that I think might matter a little bit more to casual players is something that bothers me a little bit. Not too much. I think that Grand Prix mode should have an alternative, like a classic version, where you do just play 3 laps or whatever have you
Mm-hmm.
on each map without the driving in between them and just doing the 1 lap. Just for the sake of it being different. I think a lot of people don't know. I've seen a lot of comments on the internet and people being like, "Wait, what?" That you can play every map in the game in the standard original format. You just have to go to versus mode and you have to go through like the versus mode screens,
Yeah.
get there, click on the map, and then it will show you like, hey, do you want to play Just Boo's Cinema, the second best map in the game? Do you want to play that 3 times, do the 3 lap formula, or do you want to do that from and do like the race like formula though in any direction, which is a little crazy. The amount of maps in this game is absurd when you break down like you can play from Boot Cinema to the Shy Guy Falls or whatever when that is. Shy Guy Ruins. I don't remember. But the
I think
it's
it's
like you can
false.
do that anywhere, any direction. Like it's really crazy. There's like arguably 100 plus maps.
It's like
Um
200. What is it? 200, 202 routes or
yeah,
something like that.
which is insane. And like I'm never gonna sit here and like play them all. Maybe I mean I'll play them all eventually, I imagine. But like I'm not gonna sit here and learn them all.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I.
Mm-hmm. Um, I I I do. think it's interesting to have that travel sort of like racing style where like the segmented where like you're traveling to and from, uh like Cheap Cheap Falls to, Moo Moo Meadows to Mario Circuit or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whatever's actually connected. Um but there is something about just the standard 3 laps uh that feels good. Um when I play online in like the like
Mm-hmm.
ranked versus mode, um it it bounces between the two things. Like I think the way it works is you do one travel
Mm-hmm.
race, and then if you stay in the lobby, you do a normal 3 lap race, and then you do a travel race, and then you do a 3 lap race. I think that's how it works. That's what it seems to have been in my playtime.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, and like, I guess like it's just like one of those weird things to me where I'm like, I like the moment to moment gameplay of Mario Kart World Tour. Um, but there are so many like menu decisions, and you talked about like a lot of the back, like in the background stats and whatnot, that are just so questionable. Like, why does this exist? Why does Kamek? Does anything happen?
Yeah.
Like, why is the Kamek unlocked so frustrating? Um, like it just makes the part of my brain that wants to like complete things
Hmm.
truly start to disconnect from like the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I do think the game's great for as much as like
Mm-hmm.
we've like talked about the things we don't like. I do think it's a great game.
Oh,
It
100%.
I think this Mario Kart I am so much more likely to go back to than Mario Kart 8. I don't know what about Mario Kart 8 I was like just not grabbed by. Um, but yeah, doing the little challenges and stuff. Um, and then jumping into Knockout Tour and the Versus stuff. I think just like you can do battle mode, ranked battle mode. There's a
Mm-hmm.
there's a ranking for that. I haven't done it yet, but you can do balloon battles ranked. You could become the best
That's
balloon
crazy.
battler.
I played
Um,
I played Balloon Battle, just like we had 2 games of Balloon Battle that we
mhm.
played with 4 people, and I was like, this mode needs to be switched up. Like it
Yeah.
has, like I think battle mode is legacied into Mario Kart. Like people would be mad if it's gone, but like it shouldn't exist the way that it does
Um,
anymore. Like it's just not engaging.
Spooky Little Guy says, "Am I just bad, or did they up CPU skill levels?" I have this same thought. I was playing Um, I've been playing kart racing games more and more, especially recently. And so I was like, I'm just gonna jump into 150cc. Um, did my first 150cc Grand Prix against computers, and I got second on like the very first Grand
Mm-hmm.
Prix. And my thought was like, am I bad or are they better? Um, and I know at least in the Grand Prix mode, there's the one rival that
Yeah,
is better. Um, but yeah, overall, I think the computers might be better in this game than the last game.
I think it's for sure they are. I don't know if it's been like 100% confirmed, but they definitely feel more competitive. But also at the same time, like when like you're talking about when you started up, we're not super familiar with the mechanics, like
Yeah.
the advanced mechanics of the game and whatnot. And I imagine that like if stuff like the jump boosting and the wall riding become more innate to our racing skills, then maybe it won't feel as difficult or as rubber bandy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it will feel rubber bandy forever because that's Mario Kart, but it'll be easier.
There's something about the rubber bandy in this game though that it's always been frustrating, but it's like almost equally as fun to me
Mm-hmm.
because uh it it feels real bad to go from second to 22nd. But also feels real good to cut across the grass and go back from 22nd back to second again. Like there are
The
big, uh, you know,
Mhm.
big changes in those standings that like the items have control of, and like for me at least, uh, it doesn't for as big as like a drop that you get. I
Mhm.
feel like I get like just as big boosts sometimes because it seems like everyone stays so close together.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I was gonna bring up. The point is like a lot of like the big selling point in my brain to the travel races is that everyone is typically in a giant blob.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they like that allows for so much chaos. There are times, especially specifically with one of the water travel maps. I don't remember which one, but there's like a singular orange platform that everybody drives
Oh, in the
on
middle.
to get because it's faster in the middle,
Yeah.
and that is the most chaotic piece of like
Yeah, yeah,
racing in the
yeah.
entire
I
game. It
agree.
is truly maddening. Everything gets just thrown in a straight line. Everyone's getting knocked off and getting back on. It's really fun,
It is fun.
because it's chaotic,
Yeah.
and like I can see that being like a little annoying, like for some people who are like, man, I don't want to race good. And then this isn't your game though. At the same time,
Yeah.
like this is the
Um,
silly one of the kart racer.
yeah, but that's that's Nintendo games, and that's games
Yeah.
that we can play now, right? What about
Mm-hmm.
Sony and the games that we
Well,
can't
Sony,
play yet? What's
I
coming up from Sony announced in the Sony State of Play? First thing that comes to my mind, okay? First things that come to my mind, and it
mm-hmm.
was on both our minds last week. Pragmata.
Yeah, Pragmata is real.
It's real.
Is actually real and looks pretty
I
good.
don't
Looks
think.
kind of like a Bioshock. You don't think it looks good?
Nah, I'm not interested.
All right,
I
I
think it
think
looks better than it did 5 years ago.
all right.
And it looks more like a
Mm-hmm.
real game than it did 5 years ago when I thought it just looked a like a made up piece of fiction. Um, that like
And now it's real.
no, and now it's real. Um, I still don't think it looks great personally. Um,
Capcom's not going to let us down.
I just can't
They're on their
believe
streak.
I can't believe I CParks famously on our first real episode claimed that this was a fake game. And Capcom obviously saw that with our global reach and said,
Mhm.
F off, it's real. Look, I promise.
No, yeah, and it's truly crazy because again, like the story goes, it was announced like 5, 6 years ago, and then
That's
3 years ago, or 2 years, 3 years ago, they released a trailer for it again, and it was just like at the end of the trailer, the girl was drawing on something, and then you see it, and it says it crosses out 2022 and writes in question mark question mark question mark.
yeah.
We're sorry, which
Yeah.
is a whole crazy thing to do.
It is it's
Um,
I respect it.
yeah, but now it's real. Now it's or more real than it was.
Yeah. It's because they wanted to do it in 2022, but they were like, man, this game actually it's fake.
We have to work on it.
We haven't actually worked on this at all. It's not real and it's not fun.
Mhm.
Um I hope it's good. That would be great.
Mhm.
Um
I hope for every game to be good, Chris.
sure. I think historically when a game
Hmm.
gets delayed that long, it's because
Hmm.
there were like some real core design decisions that were bad. And a
Hmm.
lot of times games can't come back from that. Um, However, this game has gone through a whole extra development cycle since they first announced it. So,
Yeah.
um,
And which is you're definitely right in that like historically that's like doesn't bode well for the game. Like that typically leaves us with like good, not great games.
yeah,
Um, but right now I really am in a position to just kind of have faith in Capcom. They haven't made a truly like bad like single player game in a long while
no,
now.
Capcom's track record of recent has been very good. For
So
sure.
like, there's hope here.
Mm-hmm.
There's hope here,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but it's not vaporware anymore. It's real.
Which of these two games you got on the dock here you want to talk about next?
I mean, I want to talk about Final Fantasy Tactics
Okay.
because I'm so happy. And again, I want to open up with being like the love hate that I have for being so like in love with like following video game news. What like truly like did take the surprise away. Like
Yeah.
all the signs of like of Final Fantasy Tactics being real the day of. It was literally like the day before. I mean, like it was the director like saying something on the internet that was like hinting at it. It was video game journalists saying stuff. It was even more and more. So I'm like, it's happening. I was like, and it was part of the NVIDIA leak 3-4 years ago. I was like, it's happening. And then when I really did see it, I was like, yes, like I truly like I felt it in my heart. I'm like, I'm so happy. But at the same time, it wasn't like the super pop that I wanted.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a difference for sure for seeing something and being
mhm,
like, even if it's crazy, and being like, holy shit, the leak was real, as opposed to being
mhm,
like, holy shit, what the hell is happening?
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely a
but everything
difference.
about Final Fantasy Tactics, like I can go either way on like if the smoothness of the character animations and the world animation, like how much do I really like that as opposed to like the very more pixelated like CRT
Hmm.
driven art style. Doesn't really matter. It's the real selling point of Tactics is the gameplay, and the bigger story. I mean, is the story. The storyline of Final Fantasy Tactics is incredible. It's near and dear to my heart. It's very, very political. Um, it's all about like the differences and how people grow apart in the face of like wealth inequality and fascism and all these things that surely have nothing relatable today. Um,
Can
and
you
it's just a
comment
real
on the politics of Ivalice, or would that like hamper your upcoming political run?
yeah, this political run that's definitely happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the politics of Atlas are a really, there's a really big bridge between the two peoples, and I think that we need to bring them together. We're looking for a middle ground um, between whether or not like people should be able to live or not. Um, um, but going back to seriousness, it's really cool. It seems to be a big celebration of tactics in general. Um, Bunch of voice actors from various Final Fantasy games are back in it. Ben Starr's in it. The voice actor who plays Sephiroth is in it. Um, and a whole bunch of other characters that I just don't have memorized right now are got like little bit roles or big roles.
I love
Um,
Final Fantasy Tactics. I love seeing it come back. I am a part of me is into how it looks. Like they've done upgrades to its graphics while keeping it very true to what it was. Um I do just want a new Final Fantasy Tactics, or
yeah, for sure.
and then potentially I think this is, we don't talk a lot about stuff uh outside the show because we try to keep it for the show. Um
Mhm.
which is an interesting new thing in our friendship. Um but
I can't talk to you for like 6 days out of the week because it's all I want to talk to
hey,
you
I'm
about
really
video games.
excited about this thing, but I can't talk to you about it because I want to talk to you about it in a week. Um oh
It finally happened. It finally happened, Chris. I'm so excited.
um
Sorry for people who might not be like looking at the chat. I before we started the show, I'm like, Chris, I got 3 drinks. I'm just in. I have 3 drinks that are open, and I need to finish them. So I'm just gonna keep switching between 3 drinks and wonder if somebody will notice. And finally, somebody noticed that I've been drinking water, OJ, and Dr Pepper separately
yeah,
in a weird cycle.
yeah,
All
good
right,
catch.
sorry, you were talking.
Um
Good catch. You were talking about yeah.
one of the things that I did say, um actually I don't remember if I even said when I said this to you, if it was before the Summer Game Fest or after it. Um, I would love to see more games like Valkyria Chronicles,
Hmm.
and with how like um Final Fantasy games have become a little more action oriented
Hmm.
from turn based, the tactics going to like a Valkyria Chronicles style, which is a little more active and not just like moving around tiles. Um, I don't know. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I think again, like I think Valkyria Chronicles, and we have talked, I think, a little bit, is that like that specific brand of strategy turn-based kind of game really needs a like it just needs to be used more. It's just not anywhere
No, I
other
think,
than in 4 games, 2 that are hidden on a PSP.
and then that one DS game, that one 3DS game.
Yes.
I can't
Yeah.
remember. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a 3DS game that also that Nintendo made
Mm-hmm.
that was like that. I'm gonna
Talking about
bring up
Code
on stream
Steam.
here. I'm gonna make it. Maybe I'll make it big for our guests. But I have a list. Oh God,
Yeah, when Chris does stuff like this, he kills
I
me
killed you.
temporarily.
How'd I kill you? Why are you dead? Why am I here twice? Help.
You're just talking to yourself.
Um,
I'll just sit back. I'll do some. I gotta switch my Super Metroid shirt and make it a PlayStation shirt
are
real
you
quick.
back now? You're back now. Okay. Well, that was interesting.
Welcome back.
Um, anyways, yeah, I've got this list of all the games here
Hmm.
from Sony State of Play. Um, Lumines, that's cool.
That's so cool.
A
Tetris
return,
Effect is
a return to
incredible.
one of the prettiest puzzle series.
Hmm.
Um, Romeo is a Dead Man was the
So cool.
next Suda game. I think the beginning of the trailer had me more interested than when I saw the
Yeah.
gameplay, but it's a weird game. It'll be fun. Silent Hill F. uh,
Can't wait to play that game and be too scared. I'm not even the biggest fan of Silent Hill 2 remake, but like I look at this and I go, all right,
no,
I'm gonna be crying afraid.
this looked better. This looked like a good modern Silent Hill compared to like what those games have been for a while. It looks good. Bloodstained.
Hmm.
Just give me a Castlevania.
Yeah,
Just
it's so funny.
give me a Castlevania.
Not getting
Um,
one.
New Digimon.
Unless it shows up in this Konami press conference in 2 days.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, right.
There's a Konami press conference in 2 days. Yeah.
God dang, more.
Hmm.
Digimon. This was a U game.
Me game. I love the Cyber Sleuth series. This is the next one in the Cyber Sleuth series, despite not having the subtitle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, they're really fun Mon games. They are more like they hurt my brain more than like Pokemon, just because you constantly are evolving and then devolving and then going down a different path. So like getting everyone, unlocking every Mon is always like a really fun brain twister. Good games, fun stories. Not great, but fun
They look
stories.
good too. I like the direction they've
Hmm.
gone with those games. But yeah, just I quickly scrolled through this. A lot of games were shown here.
Hmm.
Um, Final Fantasy Tactics, Baby Steps, Hirogami, Everybody's Golf Shot, Hot Shots, um, the 2D Ninja Gaiden game, Ragebound. Um, let's see what else is it? Neo 3. Cool. That'll probably be popular and
Hmm.
good. Um, FBC
Hides of
Fire.
Tomorrow. Oh, you want to talk about FCB Firebreak? We can.
Just because I was gonna say that's out soon. That's like
That is out soon.
you can say it releases in
Left
7
4
days.
Dead.
So that's out really soon. Which one did you want to see? Sword of the Sea.
No, no. Tides of Tomorrow
Oh,
is the is the it's just interesting concept. It seems a little bit too ambitious, but it seems really cool at the same time. It's a roguelike where if my run and I like treat an NPC really poorly or something like that, that NPC won't like you because like he's like, oh, I don't like travelers like you. Like so like it's a kind of a world affecting multiplayer, but single player only roguelike.
It's a Strand game.
It's a Strand game.
It's a Strand game.
I
understand. Game. Everyone understands what that means. Bunch of classic thing coming to the PlayStation Classic.
Everybody should play Myst once. That's all I'm gonna say.
And then
you should play it as like at least like a 30-year-old though.
The end of the show.
Like you should. Once you're 30.
Yeah. 30 years old, and then you can play Myst. Saw the 007 stuff, or a little bit. This is where we saw who the James Bond was.
Yeah.
And then at another show later, it was a little more gameplay. It's a young James Bond. Cool, whatever. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't care. I just think it's cool that the Hitman dudes are making a James Bond game.
Conceptually, it's still really there for me, but like when I saw the gameplay, I wasn't like that sold on it.
Yeah, I agree. Conceptually, hell yeah. It might be too linear, but we'll see. Ghost of Yotei was basically just, or Yotai.
Every time I see Ghost of Yotai, I go, man, maybe I should have played Ghost of Tsushima because it looks so good. It's just a pretty game.
You still can. You have time. They didn't really show anything from this. They were just like, we'll show more another time. But the big one. This was the one. This was the one where, like, in contrast to Final Fantasy Tactics, where there was kind of like that leak for it, where we were kind of looking for it. Nobody knew that this game was happening. I'm so good at my job.
I think the interesting thing about Token Fighting Souls, spoilers for the video you're about to pop up on the screen,
hopefully,
is that I think there was an inkling that Arc System Works is working on a video game, like a new video game. Because of course, like you're going to look at any developer in the same way that like how I nailed the Xbox showcase when we get there. Like you're going to be like, oh, they haven't made a game in X amount of years. Like their development cycle is usually this. They're working on something, but no one had any idea that Token Fighter Souls, the Marvel 4v4 tag fighter, was in the works. And I was completely and utterly blown away. Yep. I like fighting games. I'm not a fighting game like a savant. I'm not great at them. But man, the animations look really good. The style of it, it looked beautiful. I'm gonna pick up this game and play it for like 10, 12 hours, not beat anybody, but go, dang, that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, Arxis games, I always look at and I'm like, man, that's pretty. That's a real good looking fighting game. That's really pretty. And you know, I don't think this style of game is new to Arxis. And they've done popular IPs before. You know, Dragon Ball Fighters Z, whatever that was. This hits different though for me because it's Marvel, but only because of Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I saw somebody talk about in another stream, in another place, in another time, why Sony is co-producing this game because it's Marvel. It's a team up between Marvel, Sony, and Arc System Works. And people were like, why isn't it a Sony fighter? Like, why isn't it like a 2D, like, you know, PlayStation All Stars kind of like game, but just instead of like a platform fighter, a tag fighter or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, because Marvel has so much space in not only like general like media wise now, but like specifically the fighting game community. FGC, it was like born more or less and raised on Marvel versus Capcom and the Marvel fighters of yesteryear.
Yeah.
And like this is like the more hype thing you can do.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I think, yeah, if you do a PlayStation All Stars here instead of this, it's interesting. I also don't think Arxis would have accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's exciting for Arxis. Like they said in their little interview, they were like, when Sony came to us, we were interested. When they said Marvel, we were in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think if you're like, yeah, throw in Astrobot versus Nathan Drake and all the like all the other and Kratos and Ratchet and Clank and the apes from Ape Escape. As goofy and exciting as that might be to us, I don't think Arxis looks at that and is like, I know exactly how to make this. I think they're just like, what the hell is this? Man, my throat. We be talking a lot.
We be talking.
We be talking a lot.
We got more seconds. We got to lock in.
I think it's really cool. I think the style of it being Japanese is sick.
Yeah, the in that same interview, they talk about like they put their original character designs to Marvel. And they're like, hey, how do you guys feel about this? And then the guy was like, hey, like, these are good, but like, I want you to make them Arc System Works. Like, I want you to like put your spin on them, make them like more than just kind of like the normal character designs we see in the comics.
Yeah, and that
like this is the first time I've looked at Iron Man and went, wow, Iron Man might be cool.
So Iron Man looks kind of dope now. It's just like it's such like when I saw it, I'm like, that's such an obvious progression for like a Japanese Iron Man. But it's cool as hell. Like Iron Man looked dope. Everyone else kind of looked like how you'd expect them to look. Doctor Doom had a gun.
Doctor Doom had a gun.
That was
Captain America's design had a little extra like heat jackets, layers, and stuff like that I thought were kind of cool.
Sure. I'm excited now. Which like I think when a fighting game can do this,
I know where you're going.
It's amazing. Just like the slow drip announcement of characters. It's so
the fighting games own hype.
Yeah.
Like no other video game genre gets to have like every 2 months or every month be like, and Wolverine's in the game, or like, and Jason like it's just like literally like the way that they can just like Sora's in the game. They just create more and more excitement and hype over any other genre for the most part. You're not going to be like, oh, and now you can race as the new Lamborghini in Forza. No one, for something like that doesn't translate.
No, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah, but now it's just like, and again, part of this is because we already have that base knowledge from the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Which I've heard people talk about before with these characters. It's not Marvel vs. Capcom, so these characters are going to play different. But then also, I don't think they need to try to fill in the roster with Marvel characters from Marvel vs. Capcom, because they don't have that same expectation to be like, well, where's this character? He was in the last game, because there is no last game.
100%, which is also really like fun. Like you're going in blind a little bit.
Yeah. But
where is Wolverine, Chris?
Hopefully hanging out with Rogue, and hopefully they're the next announced characters. For the love of
I agree.
God, put Rogue in more things, Marvel. She carried
um,
that TV show.
but the I guess lastly, like I think it's really interesting that like they chose Robbie for Ghost Rider. I think that's really cool. Robbie is kind of like the Ghost Rider they try to use more.
Yeah.
Um, and Miss Marvel being in here is also really cool. So like I'm excited to see like more kind of like left field characters as time goes on.
Yeah.
Um,
I think my knowledge of Marvel really boosted from Marvel Snap.
mhm.
Um, so like just like running through like Marvel Snap again, I'd be like, add this. How do you add Devil Dinosaur to this
Devil
game? How
Dinosaur.
do we get Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur in
Hmm.
here? You know, like
That would be sick.
yeah. Um,
Give me like Angela. Just like I'm picking like names out of a hat now. Like there's so many cool people you can
because
pick from.
you can do that. Howard the Duck should be added. That's so true. Yes, Howard the Duck is a great option.
Hmm.
I was trying to,
You can
but
make him like Faust and Guilty Gear.
before I said Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, the first thing I was thinking of was like, who's a silly little guy they can add? And I was like, not Rocket. And then I was said Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I
Oh,
said, but yeah, Howard the Duck is
to die on air.
is a great option. Now you're dying on your
Yep.
horrid concoction of Dr. Pepper and orange juice.
I finished the orange juice. It's just Dr. Pepper and water now.
Okay.
Uh, not mixed together for people
Yeah.
who haven't
Yeah.
paying attention.
Yeah.
Um, the like yeah, like you could put Cosmo in there. You could put like literally, there's legions of Marvel characters. They weren't mixed in Mancer. I'm sorry. I had three open drinks at the beginning of the show, but I got to finish these, so I'm just gonna keep switching between them. Anyway, Marvel's cool. You want to talk about SGF proper?
Sure. All right.
Actually, wait. Sorry, before we jump the gun, how do you feel? How do you feel overall about Sony's? Um,
Sony's was good.
mhm,
When I first saw Sony's, my reaction
mhm.
was like, "That's a B. That's a good show.
Okay.
That's a B." Um, I I thought they had that big surprise with Marvel.
Hmm.
Um, and then they just had a lot of cool stuff that I'm glad was thrown in. Neo 3, Final Fantasy Tactics, Lumines, Silent Hill. Like they had good stuff.
Hmm.
Um,
They had good stuff in it, like, and it didn't drag too much, and like it had like a little part in the middle that was like a little bit like, okay, let's just
yeah,
not bad, but like a little like not paced as well.
yeah. Um, oh my god, I don't know if you can hear that they are leaf blowing right outside.
I can only hear a little bit of a whoop whoop, but it's like not
I hate when they
necessarily.
do this. They mess all my flowers up.
No, no.
Um, this
Pause the show for you to beat them up. No, I'm
I
kidding.
know. All right, Summer Game Fest, the main namesake attraction, I guess.
Hmm.
It how did this one start off? This was
It started off with Mortal Shell
with Mortal Shell, and that
too.
set a tone of
Hmm.
this show. We're gonna show you a lot of games where you can parry in it, like a Dark
Yeah.
Souls, and also we're gonna show you a lot of gross, ucky, slimy, dismembered monster people. Um, I'm sure Mortal Shell is fine.
Hmm.
Um, it just Mortal Shell now in my brain, it's just like it kicked off like we're gonna show you gross things with
Yeah.
nondescript goop all over everything. Um, but it looks good. Um, this show Summer Game Fest itself, not the entire weekend slate of
Mm-hmm.
things, was exactly how it has always been, where
Mm-hmm.
I get hyped for it. I get super hyped. E3, not E3, you know. Um, but the Summer Game Fest showcase itself doesn't live up to that. There are cool things in the Summer Game Fest. However, Jeff Keighley's big reveal game show is the Game Awards, not Summer Game Fest. Um, so like if to just piggyback off right after we said from PlayStation, how would I rank
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation? I said it was good. Summer
Mm-hmm.
Game Fest was not as good. It was not as fun. It had things in it that I liked, but it had less memorable things.
Yeah. So Summer Game Fest is in a weird place where I think it has a lot of inherent kind of issues with its kind of philosophy. I think it's still like I still liked watching this show. I still enjoyed watching
Me
Summer
too.
Games Fest. It's 2 hours of advertisements. Yeah, whatever. I know what I'm getting when I go into this. But that being said, Summer Games Fest is one issue is that it always has a pacing issue. It is often will hit just giant blocks of time where people are, like just won't be engaged because like the way that they handle which ties into this the next part where um being Summer Games Fest and kind of marketing yourself as the premier showcase in this kind of time in like for the summer has the issue of you kind of picking a majority of like crowd pleasing games of like what type of games in. Jeff made a very good big point of being like these are games with less developers and whatnot. He tried to have this narrative. I don't think it super worked, but like you can see it through like there's a lot of Souls likes because that's what sells. There's a lot of horror games because that's what sells. There's a lot of like these bigger branded games because that's what sells, and it just makes a large portion of SGF feel so the same, which is kind of a disservice to a lot of these games. Mortal Shell 2 looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good.
Code Vein 2 looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You can like these Souls-like games look pretty good, but when you just bombard me with them, like if I wasn't talking about them now and like had to like initialize myself with a lot of these games to talk about them, they would all blend together. And I'd be like, oh, there's like Ill is the same thing as that top-down horror game, or like it would be like just a giant mess. It's a blob.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Overall, SGF was not as enjoyable.
There was also
overall.
There was that point in the middle there with the I guess I'll call them Genshin likes, just based on how they
Yeah.
looked. But there was like 3 games in a row that they showed, and they showed one, and I was like, yeah, it looks pretty, but like it just I've seen this before. And then like I'm
Mhm.
watching, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, oh wait, is this a different game? And then
Yeah, like the
and then
Blade
I'm
and Soul ones, right?
and then I'm like, oh wait, I think this is a different game now. Oh, okay. And then a third one pops up, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely a different game, right? And like,
Mhm.
just like 3 in a row where it's just like, this is like what happened with the Souls games, but like to the extreme, where it was like, these
Mhm.
look like the exact same games. These aren't the same type of games. Souls likes, these look like the same games.
I think like part of that issue is that Jeff and the Games Fest in general doesn't do a good job of like kind of being like this is the advertisement block. Like I know like everything is advertisement trailers, but like this is like the paid for like these are like get your thing in this game now kind of block to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Where like a lot of like the gotcha looking games were like that. And it just like didn't help the flow of the show
I will,
at all.
I do want to kind of defend the Summer Game Fest a little bit, Because we did say like it's like a little more underwhelming. Um, it
There's a lot of good
has,
games here.
huh?
There's a lot of good games here.
There's still a lot of good games. There were some very interesting looking ones. Um, comparing the comparing this one show to E3
Mhm.
isn't fair because this
Mhm.
one show, E3 never had this.
Yeah, they
Um,
had 15 different
if
things.
you look at Summer Game Fest weekend, it had Sony, it had Xbox, just like E3 used to have, and then it didn't
Mhm.
have Nintendo, which that's, unfortunate that
Nintendo.
Nintendo doesn't do anything here. Um, but yeah, in the past, E3 was just like big company puts on a show, another big company puts on a show, another big company puts on a show, and then some other big companies, but not the console companies, are putting on big shows where like
You
so,
get your E3, your Ubisoft, your Capcom, your
and and Summer Game Fest style where it's just like here's a bunch of things that we pulled together from all over the place wasn't a big thing at E3. So like while it might feel underwhelming, uh the whole weekend itself that they put together is very fun and good. Um
I spent my entire Sunday watching all of the more like the independent, like the more independent like based games, like the Wholesome Direct and all of
mhm.
the like region like direct showcases. And
uh
there's so many good games in all of those, but I think a majority of the people are just going to tune into SGF, tune into Xbox and PlayStation,
yes, absolutely.
um,
And
which is maybe like a marketing issue for
yeah,
like SGF.
I I I think it's weird. It's unfortunate for SGF that like SGF markets itself and it just feels like only that one show through its marketing. And it,
Mm-hmm.
it, it almost feels like Xbox and Sony is which it like it's kind of true. Like Xbox and Sony are doing their own things. And then it just kind of feels like Jeff Keighley is like, but please, can we say it was Summer Game Fest? And they're just like, yeah, whatever. Sure.
And then Nintendo goes like, Doug Bowser's like, yeah, we don't care.
I don't care. We're doing our own thing. Um which I also, to quickly comment on that, Nintendo not being there sucks. But
Yeah.
but I wonder if it's better for its employees because now its employees don't have to be like we have to push something out to show by June.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're
Yeah.
like now they can be like when it's ready. We'll show it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not crazy. Like, I think that we get a Nintendo Direct
I do
either
too.
by end of June, early July.
I
Like, I think that that just
I
happens.
can't imagine we don't get a direct before Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And Jeff will probably be like, it's still technically in Summer Game Fest because it technically runs to like Gamescom or whatever.
yeah,
But,
whatever. Sure, Jeff. I'm gonna show off what I think was one of the most interesting uh games of the Game Fest showcase, which
Mhm.
was Felt That
Hell yeah.
boxing. Um, I don't for anyone who hadn't seen this before, this is all in-game footage.
I thought I was watching a movie.
This is all in engine, which is crazy. Where this company has put together a pipeline for puppet animated video games, like, which is crazy. But yeah, these look like real puppets. This looks like just like a movie. Um, but apparently it's like, oh my god, show. I keep doing this.
You're not, yeah,
I'm gonna
you keep
start
doing
it
this.
over. It's because of
Oh,
freaking OBS.
mm-hmm. We can blame LBS
I'm
all the
blaming
time.
OBS.
Jim Henson's ghost is looking at this and he's either really excited or he's really sad.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, this looks amazing. Um, will the gameplay, which you see later on, looks to be like there's some little mini games, like training
Hmm.
games, and then some punch out.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, like the Punch Out, it does seem like to be like the main part of the video game.
yeah, the punch out is like the video game. You're doing punch out, but there are also mini games like dodging toast, plunging toilets, um, and whatever else they show. Hold on, let me just turn the volume on real quick too.
Oh yeah. It, like this game, like again, like this is the type of stuff that like video games are cool, right?
Yeah.
Like you see this and you're like I don't, who knows like how good this game like will be, but it's cool that this exists and that is this interesting and this weird.
Um, it's it's called Felt That Boxing. It's Flying Lotus music, which people are excited about.
Hmm.
I can't think of what Flying Lotus was off the top of my head.
He's like a hip hop, trip hop, R and like, but he makes a lot of instrumental stuff. He's directed a couple movies.
Okay.
He's really cool.
Um, Two things came from this for me.
Mm-hmm.
One, hell yeah, something that like I've never seen anything that looked like this before. That's awesome. The second thing was Jeff Keighley's a little freak for puppets.
He always has the
He
Muppets when he can.
loves he
He
loves
had
his
Alf.
Muppets and his little puppets, and he's been waiting to show this off for so long. Yeah. But that was cool again because it was like
Hmm.
I was able to look at that and be like, this is a brand new thing, and that's really cool to see something like that. Um, because nothing else looked like that, and I think there was something in the Xbox showcase that we'll talk about where
Hmm.
I don't think it was quite at the same level of like I've never seen anything like this, but it was kind of close. Um, but yeah, that was cool. What else do you want to show off or talk about for the Game Fest games?
Um, I mean, let's talk about Mina the Hollower
Mina
because we
the
both played it.
Hollower. What you played the demo now, correct?
Yeah, I played the demo as of yesterday, last night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what a charming little game. Let me tell you. Let me tell you, these yacht club guys, they're going somewhere.
They know what
Um,
they're doing.
so Mina the Hollower is a game developed by Yacht Club, most famous for Shovel Knight,
Mm-hmm.
and this is their kind of attempt at like a maybe like a Zelda, maybe like an Alundra, like maybe a like Game Boy RPG, top-down RPG, action RPG. And it has so much character. It looks so pretty. It's like one of the prettiest games I've seen. Um, for like the retro style, and it plays so fluidly. It's not easy, but it like the movement
No,
is
it's a hard game for sure.
like very fun to utilize. Like because you can burrow and jump out, and that allows you to have like a little extra jump. It also allows you to dodge some things, but not other things.
There's
There's like a language
movement.
to this game. Yeah, there's like language to this game. Playing it that is so fun.
Yeah, I played this game years and years ago at a PAX
Mhm.
and instantly walked away from it and was like, this game's gonna be dope. Um,
Mhm.
Part of me was already excited because it's Yacht Club. It's the guys who make Shovel Knight, and Shovel Knight is like potentially the best like we made a new game like old games game.
Mhm.
Um and yeah, this looks like they took I guess like Zelda, top-down
Mhm.
Zelda, and
Mhm.
gave it like more like Souls likey elements to it.
Mhm.
Um it's just yeah, it looks great. It plays very good. It was one of the games I was most happy to see there because it had been so long since we last saw it. I was scared for a second when one of the people from the company was on stage talking about the game they were going to show off. I was scared it was going to be like, which it's silly to be scared of this because this also would have been awesome, but to see like Shovel Knight 3D,
Mhm.
which I think they've teased before. So like I was worried. I was like, oh, we're just getting the Shovel Knight. It's not Mina. And then it was Mina. And then it was a demo and a date. And it's
And
super.
a demo that you can play now. And if you play the demo, at least on PC, I don't know if it's out on consoles. I'm assuming it might be, but it will carry over your data to
Oh, I
the
didn't
base
know
game.
that.
'Cause yeah. You play from the beginning of the game, and you get to carry on your.
Oh,
And it's
fun.
like only like an hour and a half, not even an hour demo. I mean, um, but still, it's adorable. You get to play it,
It's,
and you don't have to play it twice if that's like your issue with demos.
yeah, which, not mine, but especially with this game. Um, in the demo that I played at PAX, they had different weapons set up that I could choose
Mhm.
from and equip. Um, and it it was cool. I only had a limited time, but it was cool bouncing between them and seeing like different play styles actually working with different weapons. And then yeah, like you said, like the whole burrow mechanic is such a simple mechanic that uh is it's such like an expression of your game style. Like you can do a lot with your burrowing just during combat, and it's, I don't know, it's gonna be an awesome game. I don't have much more to say about Mina the Hollower. It's very pretty, it's very fun, and it's out this year.
Yeah, I wish all the success to Mina the Hollower
Yeah,
because I think we need more. I mean, to say that we need more like retro inspired games is silly because there's a billion of them a week now, but we need more like high quality
they
ones of
do it
this
real
like.
well. This company does it real
Mhm.
well. So more like this. Uh, Next one I'm going to talk about from Summer Game Fest. One of my highlights. This is, I mean,
You.
these are probably my two highlights back to back. Was Mina, and then Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Uh,
What a fun announcement of guest characters.
yeah, this was, again, this was the whole thing that we've been talking about with leaks, where if this wasn't leaked, which some of this was leaked and some of it wasn't,
Hmm.
and then also some of what was leaked wasn't shown, but it's it would have been wild. I would have been like super pumped. And you know, you can see Hatsune Miku is in here, which is crazy. One of Sega's
Hmm.
famous characters is Hatsune Miku. It
Hatsune Miku.
um
Uyu.
but you know,
She's ready to race.
Joker has done this twice now. And
Hmm.
like people make the comparisons of like, oh, this is just Smash but carts. And like, kinda, I guess, cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Um but Joker's done this twice now where I've seen Joker pop up in a game and been like, "Oh man, anything is possible."
Do
Um
you know there's a third one? Do you know what other game has Joker in it as a guest
what
character?
other
Is Super
game?
Monkey Ball.
Oh,
The
okay.
newest Super Monkey Ball has Joker as a DLC.
Great. Great.
So
I just love that we're going to
so
get
you.
another game meta defined by Sonic, Steve, and Joker.
Hmm.
Just like Smash Ultimate. Um, it's a very,
No, it's
very,
Big the Cat's turn.
very funny to me. Uh, but yeah, that was one of the highlights because I had been waiting for news on that game because it looks awesome, and I've heard it plays
Yeah.
awesome. And I love Sonic. I've loved previous Sonic racing games, which if you haven't played any of the previous Sonic games, Sonic racing games, they're very good. Um, I've always seen people be like, actually, this game's better than Mario Kart. What the heck? When a new one comes out. And I hope that keeps happening for this one. I hope people are like, whoa, this is better than Mario Kart. Because Mario Kart is gonna be very big no matter what. Um,
Mhm.
but that game, with its whole cross worlds mechanic and theme, I think they showed it in that trailer, or at least afterwards, where they have two DLC tracks, I guess, I don't know, plans. One DLC is for free character updates and whatnot, which is going to be like more Sonic characters. And then the paid DLC will be the special guest characters like Joker, Hatsune Miku, Ichiban, and then some of the other hopefully leaked characters. I won't say I'm here, but I'm very excited.
I was gonna ask because I was gonna comment on one of the potential leaked characters and how that might have tied into the Xbox showcase and whether or not they did that. Um, but if you don't want to leak the
All right,
characters,
well,
that's
leak
totally
it.
fine.
Why not? It's out there.
Because yeah, so the one of the other leaks is Ninja Turtles are going to be in this racing game
And SpongeBob.
and SpongeBob. But more importantly, I think it would be and it should have happened. I really think it should have happened. You should have shown Michelangelo in this game, and so then when you saw Michelangelo also in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, you went, "It's the year of Mikey."
You could have done the same thing with SpongeBob because they
Yeah.
already
Oh, that's true too.
they showed Bikini Bottom the last time they showed Tony Hawk 3
Mm-hmm.
and 4. And so
Mm-hmm.
like SpongeBob and those Ninja Turtles right now, they be getting around guesting
Yeah.
in
There's even that
games.
Nicktoons game that seems to have at least SpongeBob in it. I mean, it does have that, and SpongeBob, and it might have a Ninja
Others, I don't
Turtle.
know.
I don't know.
But yeah, if they put the Ninja Turtles in this game, like what am I supposed to do about any other game ever? I'll have Sonic and the Ninja Turtles in the same video game.
Yeah, those are all your guys.
Those are my dudes. Like, hold on, look behind me. The top two shelves are Sonic and Ninja Turtles. And Bender's up there, but that's just because I couldn't find another spot for him. But yeah, those are my dudes. Um, so I won't need anything else. Uh, in it also, I think the game looks pretty. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Sega games sometimes I'm like iffy on how it actually looks. Like there's a style that they go for usually, but it like actually looks like the style looks better than like the animations and it running. And that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of the case still for this. I think like some of the animations are like quick, but it looks gamey. Like the animations and stuff in this game, the way the cart moves, I think looks video gamey, arcade gamey. So I'm okay with it. Um,
Yeah, I'm excited to try it out. Again, I talked about it before. I've never played a Sonic racing game outside of like Sonic R, and that doesn't count. Um, so I am like, I do want to get my hands on it and see how it feels different, and see like I want to see the race transforming mechanic happening.
mhm.
Um,
I
give it to me now.
I would love for them to do another playtest. They did one playtest a couple months ago, only for PlayStation 5, so I couldn't get in on it because I don't have a PlayStation 5. Um, and now they've announced the game for September, so like it's 3 months away, 3 months and a couple weeks, because it's the end of September. Um,
Mhm.
Halfway through, just get me a little tease. Give me a weekend with the game. People will have their Mario Kart fill
Mhm.
because we're in that Mario Kart honeymoon right now where it just came out. People have been playing Mario Kart, and there will have been enough people ready to think about other kart games, I think. So just like give me
You'd hope so.
specifically, just give me specifically a taste of it. I don't care about any of you guys. Just let me play it. Um, Yeah. More Summer Game Fest stuff. What else? What else did you like?
Do you want to talk about like just like quick hits
Yeah.
before we get to like the final review?
Yeah.
Okay. Or the final game? Okay. Um things that I'm kind of excited for, slash really excited for, somewhere in that vein. I think Mio Memories in Orbit looks like a really fun Metroidvania.
Okay.
It looks pretty. I think Lego Voyage looks like it will make me cry.
It looks cute as
Um,
heck.
I know, like I'm just gonna get overwhelmed by how cute it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Fractured Blooms is the one they described as Doki Doki meets
Silent Hill.
uh, Silent Hill,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, that's kind of
It
interesting.
does
It
look.
seems like kind of like a PT clone in the way that you have these generic things
Sure.
that you're doing, and then it gets weirder and weirder and weirder.
Yep.
Um, so I'm interested about that, but that's also like I'm also hesitant because like a lot of times when you just position something as it's this meets this, I'm like, there's probably a better way to sell your game than relying on like these two giant franchises.
Yeah.
Mixtape looks like a game I want to play. Narrative, music base. It looks cute. Looks
Mm-hmm.
like a Life is Strange. Um, Acts of Blood is like a Sifu kind of thing going on. It's made by that one guy and his 9 friends, which I don't know what that means. Are you paying your 9 friends? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
uh, uh, Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
I love the Scott Pilgrim game for the 360.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the biggest beat 'em up person on the planet. That being said, Scott Pilgrim's cool. This is a sequel. It's canon somehow to what? Who knows?
Who cares? It's
Yeah.
fun.
There's a slew of just like when I look at these cover arts for games, I guess I can't fully comprehend what they are. There's a bunch of Hades clones back to back that I'm sure are all right.
There were a few of them
Uh,
that, yeah,
mhm.
looked all right.
Ill looks gross. We
Yep.
talked about Ill at the top of the show.
Yeah. Of all the
That
like
looks cool.
the yucky, gross looking games, Ill was the yuckiest and grossest, so it grabbed the attention the most for me.
Conceptually, Wu-Tang, Rise of the Deceivers, real neat. I like the idea. You got to save the Wu-Tang. I like the Wu-Tang.
Sure. Yeah.
That sounds fun enough.
Yeah.
And then Stranger Than Heaven,
Mm-hmm. The
the
RGG.
penultimate, the second to last. RGG Games made Yakuza, made Judgment. This seems to be more kind of on the Judgment side of things. The first trailer the release was like in the 1910s, and this one's in the 1940s. I imagine since the original title was Project Century, this game will take place over 100 years. I just like that's probably what's going to happen. But
I thought it was
I've
funny.
Mhm.
One of the things that I saw people like confused or complaining about with that game was just being like, why would they show you the game in one time frame and then change it to a different time frame? And it's just like it was titled Project Century. Like
Yeah,
time.
like do you not have context clues?
Do you know what that name? Do you know what the word century means? Like, do you know time? Have you heard of time? The
Have
passage
you,
of time.
it keeps moving? What do you mean?
So yeah. Um yeah, that was cool to see. And then yeah, I think you
Mhm.
were getting to it. The last game that they showed off, Resident
Yeah,
Evil Requiem.
Resident Evil Requiem.
Um
So,
oh,
what you give me your thoughts, and I'll be an annoying fan about it.
so my history with Resident Evil is mostly from afar.
Hmm.
Um I've only played 5 and it was weird. I had a fun time doing it co-op. I didn't
Hmm.
necessarily think it was like a great game or anything like that. Um,
It's my review for 5.
this this Resident Evil, for whatever reason, to me was giving off Silent Hill vibes.
Okay, yeah, I can see how you get there.
Like
Um,
I felt like this was Silent Hill. This is a Silent Hill like.
mhm. Yeah, I can see how you get there because like especially this trailer that they showcase is very like feels more real world, like it's more based in a living world with real people where Resident Evil kind of while being like this is like Earth and whatnot, there's a lot of like really crazy things just happening all around it,
Yeah.
right? Instead of it just being like an isolated horror like Silent Hill for like one or two people, which is way more believable than the nonsense amount of stories that Resident Evil has told. Quick background: I have played every single Resident Evil game. It was a joint venture between my friends and I 3 years ago. Um, and there's a lot of bad, but there's some really good
There's a
ones too.
lot of bad.
Uh, there's a lot of bad. When you get to the spin-offs like Resident Evil Survivor, Resident Evil Dead Aim, Resident Evil Outbreak, which is very important to this trailer, Resident Evil Outbreak 2, Umbrella Chronicles, like all of these things are um not the highest quality. Although I'll go to bat for Dead Aim because it's weird. It's one of the light gun games, but you also move with the controller. Very weird.
Oh, okay.
But this game gets a lot of people hyped because we're going back to Raccoon City. You get to see the fallout that happened after Resident Evil 2 and 3 because they both end at the same time with like the meteor. This game also you play as seemingly the main character of this trailer is Grace Ashcroft, who is the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft from Resident Evil Outbreak 1, which is a PS2 multiplayer Resident Evil game, like their first attempt at multiplayer, where you would LAN connect your PS2 to a phone line, and you and three other people would try to like get out of like Raccoon City, I think, together. I didn't beat this one because playing this game in the modern era
Yeah.
isn't very easy to play, especially when you're playing on original hardware. You can't. There's no servers. You have to play alone. It's not like the most exciting. But that being said, this harkening back to Resident Evil Outbreak, and harkening back to Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 being set in Raccoon City, I'm super excited. And again, we talked about it at the top of the show. Capcom has been on a heater. They've been releasing great games. Resident Evil 8 is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not incredible. It's pretty good. Resident Evil 7, pretty good. Resident Evil remakes, for the most part, are all great. 3's pretty good, but 2 and 4, I'm so excited. At the end of the day, I'm just excited. Give me more Resident Evil. Give me more of this nonsense. I like the story too much for how bad it is. And so I just want more.
Yeah, Resident Evil for me is one of those series where typically I'm happy it's happening, but I don't care to participate, It's like, "Oh, I'm glad that this classic franchise is still going and people are still excited about it and it's still doing its thing." But I don't think I'll play this game. But that's just me. But again, I think it looks good. The last couple of Resident Evil mainline games that they've made have looked good. Like I think since what, 7? 5 was the one I played. 6 was like 5 but worse. And then
6 is objectively a bad game.
And then 7, I believe they went back to like first person. Or they went to first person, I should say. And that's when things I thought with Resident Evil started getting back into the good graces of the gamers.
Especially so they started alternating, right, between 7, 2 remake, 8, and 3 remake, then 8, then 4 remake. So they've been kind of on this like weird schedule where they're trying to release Resident Evils all the time, but they're of such good quality. Most people are like, "Oh yay, more Resident Evil."
That's something that I was thinking about with those remakes because I thought like, okay, yeah, here's the new game. Are they done with the remakes? You don't go remake.
I don't think so.
You don't go remake 5, do you?
No, but you remake Code Veronica.
Okay.
I think that's a layup. Code Veronica is, in my opinion, the best of the tank control Resident Evils. It was really, especially the Dreamcast version. That game rules. I think you remake that. There's an argument you can remake one. Although a lot of people will just tell you that the GameCube version is all you ever need. And then I think you could remake Resident Evil 0 if you change some stuff to make it more, like, I guess, interesting / better than its original format. I think if you made 0 co-op game, I think that game would be incredible. Instead of I don't know if you know anything about Resident Evil 0.
Nope.
Okay, Resident Evil 0 is
There's a lot of Resident Evil lore that I have picked up bits and pieces of from here and there, but I couldn't tell you where it falls.
Gotcha. 0 is like, as the name says, it leads right up into, like, and it does kind of connect straight into Resident Evil 1, but you play as 2 characters, and the way the game works is that you have to manually switch to the other character to move them, and you don't have a shared inventory, and so it has this, like, okay, I need this character to do this kind of quest, and now they're sectioned off in traps, so now I have to use this other character. All the stuff I don't have over there. It's like it would be like, honestly, you give that game to, like, Hazelight, like you use, like, the kind of asymmetrical co-op in, like, A Way Out or Split Fiction, and you just do that for 0. I think it could be incredible, because that's what the game is, except for it's one person controlling 2 people at different times.
All I got from that, all I can think about is, like, so we need a Resident Evil -1.
Yeah. Ooh. Black and white version.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was Summer Game Fest for, what we enjoyed from it, what we thought. Overall, I kind of said at the top, it was, like, a little more underwhelming. With that being said, it's still, like, I don't know, CC plus. It didn't blow me away, but I didn't walk away with nothing.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel too. Like, there's a bunch of stuff in there that I liked. I don't think the show is paced well, and I think it was very samey for a lot of it. But that doesn't mean those games are bad. They just don't speak to me at the level they might speak to others.
Yeah.
2 hours of my life, I had fun watching it.
All right.
And don't need every game.
And then, I mean, there was more that day. There was the Day of the Dev. But we're gonna jump into the next mainline big show, which was the Xbox Games Showcase.
Woo! Which you said last week you thought was going to be mid.
Yeah, so I thought last week, I was like, we saw a bunch of stuff this previous year, and my thoughts were Xbox doesn't have more to show us unless it's more of those games. Like how can Xbox possibly have anything more that is cool or interesting or exciting unless we just see more of what we saw last year? And I don't know if we saw anything we saw last year. Like this.
Yeah, we saw Outer Worlds. There we go.
This showcase was a lot of brand new things that I'd never seen before. And then also I think the like first big showing of a couple of things that we didn't know about, but we just hadn't really seen a whole lot, like Clockwork Revolution.
Yeah, Clockwork Revolution.
I think we knew Clockwork Revolution. We had never seen this much of it, and I think this was the show that like took up the most time, or the trailer that took up the most time in the Xbox showcase. Like,
yeah, and what, like, the thing I'm like specifically about Clockwork Revolution is that it's in Exiles. This is the first Microsoft being owned by Microsoft video game. And it's also they're like their big stab at like trying something new at the same time.
Yeah, they're the
For most of
Wasteland people, correct?
Yeah, they made Wasteland 2, Wasteland 3, and they also made Torment Tides of Numeria, which is the spiritual successor to Planescape Torment. They're CRPG people
Yeah.
over there. They make really cool, really nerdy CRPGs that I really like. And now they're like, hey, we're doing almost kind of like the BioWare thing, where BioWare got their bread and butter by CRPGs, and now here's their Mass Effect. This is their Fallout. This seems so systems heavy, but also like it looks like Fallout in a lot of ways.
Looks like
but steampunk.
Some would say BioShock.
Yeah, yeah. BioShock's also cool.
Different company, I get it. But this trailer, and I think like I'm playing it without any volume right now because we're talking, and I don't want to be interrupted by the knob. But I think this is a trailer you should watch with volume, because I think the dialogue and the performances are really good. I think they do, and this scene specifically right here I thought was neat. For the trailer where they're going through like the character customization aspect of like a Fallout or something like that, but the voiceover is like telling a story through it on like who robbed them, and it was cool. It's very interesting. Definitely watch this trailer, but with the volume on,
especially since it's a wild ride, because it just keeps escalating. You keep going like, all right, I get what this game's about, and then it's like another thing and another thing and another thing.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah, it takes like right here, it's like you're slowly learning more about the game and you're like, okay, yeah, action RPG shooter with some dialogue options. Okay. And then it keeps going, and it just keeps slightly showing you more systems and more gameplay mechanics and like more character performances, and like it took a long time. It was a really big trailer, and it looked really good and really fun. My biggest gripe with this trailer is it's 5.5 minutes. And by the end of it, you don't get a release date.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
You don't get a release window. All they say is just like, I think they say in due time. You'll get it when you get it.
Yeah.
And that to me is wild, to show this much and not have that information ready.
I'm with you, because like you release like a minute trailer, like a 45 second to a minute 30, like little trailer, little fun, like bang 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 bang, out when it's done kind of like thing, and that's cool, that's fine. You're like, all right, I don't get a release date, but I'm excited. This is you could have released this today.
It looks like it,
like with much data. I mean, how much stuff they've shown.
It was one of those trailers where, thinking about it later, I was just kind of thinking like, oh yeah, and then there's like the time manipulation. There's a lot going on in this trailer that you don't get without the volume, but like it's crazy. To go 5 minutes with all this information about the systems, the perks, the gunplay, the gun customization, the time manipulation stuff, going back in time, doing stuff to change stuff in the future, and then like what more could you tell us to like hold on?
What more is there to to put in this game?
Like the next time we see this game, I can't imagine seeing anything new except for the date. Like that's the only thing that was missing. I'm not any less like excited. This looked very cool, sounded very cool. And again, yeah, The performances by the characters were really good. I just wish there was a date.
Yep. I think that's this trailer. Is just like it's looks incredible, but at the same time, like why this much without this date?
Yeah.
Without no date. But like I want my hands on it. I want to play this game. I want to see what this is about.
Yeah.
You've sold me on this game.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
I
Crazy.
That's the best thing that I guess they have for not showing a date is everyone was into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like everyone wants the date because everyone's like, give me it. You know, so good on them for creating a really interesting game. That trailered really well. I think that's a tough thing with games too. Sometimes games demo or trailer bad.
Mm-hmm.
That looked really good. That looked really good.
Especially it was like cutscene, it was gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
it was systems, it was like literally like there's nothing more I want from a trailer other than a date.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's just crazy. It's a weird decision.
And I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna move on to the next thing that I thought was wild because spoilers. I thought the Xbox Game Showcase was like good start to finish. There was constantly stuff where I was like interested in. This was a really good showcase.
It was a really good showcase, and it did rely a lot on like third party stuff, but like that's fine. Like coming to
That's
Xbox,
fine.
like they're allowed to do that. It's fine.
This next game,
what are you gonna bring up next?
Beast of Reincarnation.
It's crazy. I didn't know
this is crazy. I'm just gonna pay attention to this trailer for the people watching who haven't seen this before, because in a second it shows who makes this game. Right there, Game Freak.
The
Pokemon people are making this game, and I don't know if I've ever seen a game trailer that came out that made people think, why the heck does the other game not look like this? You know, like Game Freak showed this off, and so many people were like, why doesn't Pokemon look good then? Why is this pretty? Why isn't...
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then there, on the other spectrum, there were people who were also like, oh, this is why Pokemon didn't look good. All the artists were working on this game.
For the little background info that I do know is that Game Freak is like kind of split in a or specifically the Pokemon teams that work on Pokemon. The creator likes to keep those teams relatively small because of like it encourages like a more cohesive concept or something like that. I remember reading about in an interview. So maybe you have those teams doing that, and then we aren't dragging the Pokemon games into yearly releases anymore. This is what everybody else was working on.
Yeah.
And this looks insane. This is the same company that made the game Town. I don't remember. Do you remember Town?
Yes, I do.
That came out like 2-3 years ago.
I haven't thought of it, but yeah. Was that...
Yeah.
Wait, 2 or 3 years ago? Oh my god, it feels like forever.
Yeah.
I don't know when it came out.
It just feels like forever ago.
Jeez.
But yeah, it was several years ago. And this game looks like, as Dunn was in the chat, it looks AAA. It looks like the quality of this video game is just not something I thought Game Freak had in them.
No, clearly they're a big team of talented people who, you know, maybe we just put a little bit more of that talent into Pokemon, because there's a lot of great things you're doing with Pokemon. Maybe it should run at a better frame rate on its launch system. But yeah,
Pokemon Scarlet Violet runs at a good frame rate now on Switch 2, but it's still just not like that. It's the art direction's not interesting. It's
pretty flat.
The gameplay isn't like as engaging as like Pokemon has been, kind of like it just doesn't feel like fully cooked, even in the form that it is in now. But why can't make Pokemon? I don't want Pokemon hyper realistic.
No, 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 no.
Don't I don't want to look in like exactly like that trailer, but like you put the art direction into it. You put Game
I,
Freak like
I'm happy
yeah.
with the hyper realistic like Detective Pikachu movie. That's fun and kind of
Mhm.
funny to me. I don't want the games to look like that.
Yeah.
Those Pokemon there's some horrifying Pokemon.
Like my guy Mr. Mime.
Yeah. So that was Game Freak's game. Uh, this next game also, I'll play the trailer for, get it going, because I'm just kind of like running through a couple of these right now because there was so much.
Mhm.
Um, another game trailer, which kudos to them. Like, watch this with the volume because you don't get the atmosphere without this guy singing to you. Um, this game was wild because you start off and you're like, I don't know what this is.
Mhm.
And then you slowly pick up like, oh, this is like House Flipper, right? This is like a house renovation game. And then it's just like, oh, this is like a really high quality one of those with some story and some characters in it. That's neat. Um and then you slowly see stuff and you're like, okay, that's weird. Um and then like, oh, it's actually the whole town maybe you're renovating, and you're like, okay, this is pretty ambitious. And then like you kick open the door at night. They don't suspect a thing. Weird runes are appearing. You're going
Mhm.
through portals now. There's like it's all messed up on the other side of that portal, and it's just suddenly it's like we went from House Flipper to like what, I don't know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, like a weird like mystery based
And they're still
like
singing to you the whole
exploration
time.
game. It's a good trailer. It's a really good trailer.
Mm-hmm. Um, Singing, dancing. Like there's a part of me that's like, I hope all that
Mhm.
singing and dancing is like part of this game in this world. Like
Mm.
I hope it's a musical.
Honestly,
Except when you go to like whatever this other world is.
not enough musical video games. I know like three, and that's it
Yeah.
in the grand history of video games.
But that's another one where I think it's like
So cool.
I haven't seen a game try to be like this before. This is cool. Um, of all the games shown at Xbox's showcase, Clockwork Revolution. I keep wanting to say Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Clockwork Revolution was good.
Mhm.
Um, it looks it like describing it sounds like a triple A, quadruple A like game, and like it looks really really good. It doesn't sound new. This is like a little bit more of like that like new type of game, like House Flipper.
Yeah, it's like a genre of flute fusion and whatnot.
Yeah, like House Flipper is like relatively big, and these like
Mhm.
renovation games are more recently popular. And then this is just kind of like someone took that and was just like, but let's make it weird and give it a story, and like let's just do a bunch of stuff with it. So I liked this game trailer a lot. It was one of my favorites from the show. Do you have any other
Yeah.
specific ones you want to look at? We have one
Um.
more on our docket here for Keeper.
Yeah. Yeah. Keeper. I just mainly put Keeper in the docket just because I wanted to have a victory lap over how I called out that Don't Nod was going to release the trailer for their new game that wasn't announced, and I got it right. I just really all it was. It looks cute. It
Well,
looks
this
like
isn't
Don't
Don't
Nod.
Nod.
I mean, not. Sorry.
Oh,
I
Double
was
Fine.
looking also Double Fine. I was looking at Don't Nod when I was scrolling down my page. Ugh, reading and talking at the same time.
It and
But yes, Double Fine.
streaming brain.
Mm-hmm. I was very adamant. I'm like, it's been a long time since Psychonauts 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we're getting another Double Fine game.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends was like, oh no, they're just a publisher now, and I'm like, no, they're gonna keep making games. Tim Schafer's got that dog in him.
He's got that for sure. He still has that passion.
And so I just think Keeper looks really neat. You play as a castle. That's silly. That's
A
fun.
lighthouse.
A
really,
lighthouse,
right?
yeah, not a castle. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like a lighthouse.
Um,
You're the keeper of the light.
but it's cute.
It's cute.
And it's weird, and it's like got that Double Fine charm to it,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like a little off kilter.
Mm-hmm.
And I predicted it would happen, so
very.
I'm excited. I'm excited to play it.
Very much a Psychonauts kind of look. James and the Giant Peach, kind of that like almost like off kilter claymation, kind of look. It looks nice. It looks cute. It seems weird, which is what you would expect, I think. Yeah, I don't know. This
gameplay wise, it looks like an inside kind of thing, like a limp, like one of those cinematic kind of platformers.
Yeah, I agree. It's Limbo in 3D, where it's like it's very scripted. It's very linear. But
there's platform.
But it looks nice, and there's some platforming in it, and that looks cool. And yeah, you said you were like, there's gonna be Double Fine's gonna be here, and there they were.
They were there.
Looks cute. Other games at the Xbox thing. Let me bring up my list here, because it was a lot. Like I said, it was good. Got here.
I'm more than ever on Outer Worlds 2. I watched the whole deep dive they did, which was really, really funny. You haven't watched that. Ben Schwartz voiced Sonic the Hedgehog.
He does.
It's really funny.
He plays Mark? He plays a character Mark. He's funny.
Yeah, he's basically doing the Key and Peele bit from the Gremlins 2 Key and Peele bit.
Lag.
That might be on you. My stream seems to be working up there. I'm watching the stream too. Or maybe it's just me who's lagging.
It was probably because I was doing stuff, because I still have you in Discord instead of Video Ninja. Because I didn't wake up in time to do that. But yeah. Xbox had a lot of games.
Xbox One.
I forget what you were saying now. Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, more sold than ever.
I personally didn't need any more for that game. I knew what it would be. I'm glad that it's good. But I didn't need to see any more. I know what that game is going to be. Why can't I get this to work? But I like seeing people go back to the first game and thinking it's good. I played a little bit of the first game, and I think it opens up strong. It has like a really strong opening, and it was kind of like, yeah, this is what I want from this. And it's just kind of like tailed off a little bit and just got like less interesting, and I fell off of it. But I know it's a good game, and I think having a second one just to refine what they started, I think this game will be great.
Yeah, I think that it very much one is almost like a proof of concept of and it's it has some good part. It has got a lot of good pieces. I'm hoping that it makes it into a good whole now.
I think it's crazy how much this company's doing.
Yeah, the year of Obsidian. 3 games this year.
Obsidian. Yeah, what was the first game? I can't even remember anymore.
Avowed came out.
Avowed.
It was originally supposed to become. This is an interesting thing that I have going on in my head. Avowed was supposed to come out in November, and they pushed it back to release in February, and that could be to dodge similar games like Dragon Age, others, or just to give it more time, or it could be honestly, my a little conspiracy brain. is like maybe they just wanted to put themselves in a position where they're like, well, hey, we're Obsidian. We released 3 games this year. We are killing it. Like, and trying to like have a narrative going about like this is the year of Obsidian kind of thing.
Yeah, because Obsidian, they had Avowed, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
coming out with The Outer Worlds 2 later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, Grounded 2, which was announced here. Its early access launches next month.
Mm-hmm.
I
Did you
liked
see the reasoning behind that?
the reasoning for what?
Like why Grounded 2 exists?
No, why?
They were just like, we ran out of space. They were like, we couldn't fit everything we wanted to put in this backyard.
Okay,
Really silly, but
cool. Yeah, that's funny. I liked the first Grounded. I played a decent amount of it across like my Xbox and also on my PC. It's cool. It's a neat survival craft game. Cool
mm-hmm.
setting. Um, nice visuals. Spiders are scary. Spiders are real big.
Isn't this one? Doesn't this one have like an arachnophobia mode that
Oh
makes
yeah.
them like really silly looking?
It has an arachnophobia mode, which they updated like shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
Because it still wasn't enough for some people. They had an arachnophobia mode where it made uh like it took textures away and it like took away like a lot of the form of a
Mm-hmm.
spider. And then they updated it to just like take away even more. They're just blobs. If you turn that
That's really good.
if you turn that arachnophobia thing all the way up, it's just like a floating blob.
It's
It is
good. It's cute.
completely unrecognizable as a spider. But as someone without arachnophobia, uh, yeah, it's really cool and scary to just be like walking around this world as a little mini person, and you see like the ladybugs, and then there's all the ants, and you're like, ah, these guys are so annoying. They're taking stuff out of my base, and then you walk out, and off of the distance you see a spider, and you're like, oh, I can't. Or you just see a spider web, and you're like,
Mm-hmm. You're like, nah.
I gotta go. I can't be here. I'm not ready for this. Um, and yeah, that's cool. In the Grounded 2 trailer, one of the new things it looked like you could do is you could
Using his mouth,
yeah use the bugs as mounts. They
which is
showed
cool.
they show them riding on a multitude of different bugs, including a spider. So it is cool. It's a cool base building survival game. I like the first
Mm-hmm.
one a lot. I'm hoping that the second one at its early release has more in it than the first one had, which I can only imagine because you've already made a whole game. Um, but I would play that game with people. It's fun. It's easy. Um, Another game I was super pumped about was Super Meat Boy 3D.
I'm
I
so
love
excited for Super Meat Boy 3D.
I
So
loved
excited. The game looks great.
I loved Super Meat Boy. I beat every level in the original Super Meat Boy.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. Um, and I just love that uh, Super Meat Boy 3D was like, hey, let's take potentially the worst perspective for platforming and make it hard.
Yeah, they're like, shout out to you, Super Mario Bros. 3D World.
I love
We're
3D
coming for
World
your
and
throat.
3D Land. But yeah, as for platforming goes, like it's harder to tell what the heck you're doing at that
Mm-hmm.
perspective for platforming. But that looks great. Very excited about that. Um, DLC for Indiana Jones. Cool.
Well, I'm only going to talk about this just as I don't have a lot to say. I just think it's really funny that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has now a subtitle called The Order of Giants, and the full game is like, yeah, I really love Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, The Order of Giants.
Yeah,
There's a lot of mouse
it's
sounds.
a lot going on. It's a lot going on there. I agree. Um, what else we got? Ninja Gaiden 4.
Cool,
Cool. It looks like
just cool. It can be hard. It can be cool.
those old games, so that's dope.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like, Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3, and that's awesome. What else do we get down here? Some Elder Scrolls and Fallout 76 stuff.
Hmm.
Age of Mythology. I finally on
It's cool.
Chronos. Chronos was the game.
The
Co-
Blooper Team. It's the one that space horror,
Yeah,
kind of a Dead Space like seeming.
Bluebird Team did what recently? They did the Silent Hill 2
Silent Hill
remake,
2 remake.
and they
Hmm.
did something else before that.
Was it The Medium, a game that is bad?
I think it was another
I don't like.
remake.
Maybe
I
I don't like being really mean to a lot of video games, but I'll be mean to The Medium.
Okay.
It's like a lot of bad mental health stuff going on in that game.
My thought was when I saw this game and I saw it was the Bluebird Team, I was like, oh, because I also think it was another horror game. I'm gonna look it up real quick on something
All right, you
else.
got it. If you want to
Uh,
talk, you can do it.
that's not how you do the internet.
Nope.
So Bluebird Team get Layers of Fear, The Medium,
Layers of Fear. Mhm.
Observer, Blair Witch.
Observer is so good though. Oh,
Si-
Blair Witch was the most recent. That was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I don't know.
a couple of years ago, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay. Maybe I'm just
Seems all right.
I mean, they do horror clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they just did the Silent Hill 2 remake, and my thought for them was like, they saw they saw a, they saw a good horror game, and maybe they were like, we can learn from this, and then they were making Chronos, which looked.
Yeah,
This is
I
the
don't
Dead
know how
Space one.
big Blooper Team is. I don't
I,
know how big of a company they are. I mean, they've made multiple games and a semi like you know release schedule, semi quick release schedule.
yeah.
So I can imagine there is a lot of crosstalk between like the Silent Hill 2 devs and the Chronos devs to be like,
Mm-hmm,
how can we make this better, more cinematic, blah blah blah.
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
am interested in this. I'm not the biggest Silent Hill. I said it earlier in the show already. Silent Hill 2 remake was okay.
Okay.
Played it with a buddy. We just like switched the controller back and forth. He loved it though, so like maybe I'm in the wrong here.
I I
Um,
I had heard people who had played Silent Hill 2 were very
mhm,
worried about this remake, and then when it came out, they were very happy with the remake. So I guess if you were a fan of it, it hit.
mhm. For other stuff, I want to talk about Mudang a little bit. Two Hearts.
Okay.
That is a Korean studio making their own. Basically, it looks like Silent Hill with like more like kind of weird stuff going on. Did I say Silent Hill? I didn't mean Silent Hill. I meant Splinter Cell. Brain can't work. Yeah, they made like a Splinter Cell like. The game looks super neat. I've been craving a Splinter Cell like game. It's been 20 years, it feels like, because Ubisoft doesn't know what they're doing anymore. Um, it's just not marketable for them. I get it deep down, but it doesn't mean I don't want Splinter Cell. So yeah, I'm really excited about Mudang.
It it
Um,
that's not what I clicked. Yeah, it looked interesting to me. Um, because for a portion of it, I thought like I've seen this military espionage
mhm,
kind of game before. That's fine. Um, but then the setting, I was like, oh, this is interesting. All of a sudden, that it's like, um, not just America.
mhm.
We're not just American spies or Marines or whatever. So like, I was like, oh, you could tell some different stories with this that I liked. Um, that's Mudang Two Hearts. Um, let's see, Animo was a what seemed to be like a creature collector.
Oh yeah. Like, but like in the way the gameplay worked was like you turn into the creature
Yeah,
like
look,
during combat.
it looked like you can traverse the world as
Hmm.
one of the creatures. Um, and then but then similar to like Pal World, your
Hmm.
human character who can have weapons. I think I remember seeing like a giant hammer will also be attacking
Reminded me a lot of
monsters.
Nino Kuni in that
Okay,
regard.
visually.
No, not visually, but like just like the combat of Neo
Oh,
Kuni 2.
yeah. Okay, I see that. It's just yes. Hmm.
Like you have these little guys running around, and then you also can attack people.
Yeah. And it looked like they potentially evolve and level up and
Mm.
whatnot. But yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I want more info on that one. I don't really have like a lot more to say on it. I
yeah.
want more info to hit my
Um,
hands.
Persona 4 Revival was shown off.
Yeah,
It's
that game is nowhere near as close. I was right about it being here. I was right about it showing up here. They didn't show anything of
no,
that
they
game other than like the most basic. Here's like Unreal Engine 5 looking at the street.
yeah, it looked pretty,
It
but
did.
it didn't really show anything other than just being like, it's real. It's a thing that's happening.
Mhm.
Um,
Good
Fate's
choice on the
Fate's
subtitle.
End, I thought looked nice. It was a side-scrolling mm, action adventure y game,
Yeah, with like choices. The way they had the choices for some reason reminded me of Oxenfree, although I don't think it's anything like Oxenfree.
maybe. It had, some tarot card themes going on to it.
Hmm.
Um, Invincible Verse, Invincible
Killer
Verse
Instinct devs.
versus. It's a new company that
Hmm.
yeah,
By X.
it's a bunch of the old Killer Instinct devs making an Invincible 3v3 tag
Hmm.
fighter. Um, I don't know a lot of the
It's all
characters in that universe, but cool.
yeah. I know just like a season and a half
Hmm.
worth of characters from Invincible. I like the show. I haven't finished the show. Um, and it seems to lend itself well to a fighting game. That being said, tag team fighters are getting really, really competitive next year.
Yeah,
If this game
there's
comes out next year,
three
um,
three tag fighters coming out.
mhm.
Uh, at some point, at least two XKO,
Yeah,
Marvel,
the Marvel one
Tokon, and
we talked
then
about earlier, and then this.
Invincible. This game, when I saw it, reminded me of the Power Rangers
Mm,
fighting game that had
yeah,
come out years ago, where
that Ryu is in
yeah. Um,
from Street Fighter.
but the comparison that I could think of was like there's other fighting games coming out around this that are gonna get more attention and more hype. But like the Power Rangers game, from everything I know, was a really good fighting game. I played it
Mhm.
a little bit and I had fun with it. Um, and then this just reminded me of that, where it was like it it looks a little bit lower budget. It's not as flashy. It's a big franchise name, but it feels like it's playing little brother to like 2XKO and Marvel.
Mhm.
Um, it's made by uh the X a new company, Quarter Up, I think is the name, who are a bunch of people who worked on Killer Instinct. Um, they have a pedigree in
Yeah,
hyperfast fighting games. Um, I'm excited to see more for that for sure. It sounded like I think we both saw the same thing from a Maximilian dude,
hmm,
where um, he has seen this game a lot. He's close to the people making it, and he made it sound like we won't have to wait too long before we see more for that game.
cool.
So cool.
Yeah, and
Um,
again, like fighting things, there are gonna be character reveals for people who like are really in on the Invincible universe. Are be able to look and like, oh, that's like the I can't name drop Invincible characters that I thought I was gonna try, and I'm not gonna try. We're moving on.
I'm pretty sure my wife has read like the entirety of like Invincible,
Mm,
um, but has no interest in the show. Moving on. The last game that I want to talk about from the Xbox showcase where I had a real good time with the Xbox
Mhm.
showcase. Saw a lot of cool stuff, and then this last trailer starts
Mhm.
playing. I've actually, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna play it behind us real quick.
Mhm.
Uh, because
Um,
because man,
yeah,
it like, oh, I got it here. It threw
yeah,
me.
yeah. No, it threw
Um,
me too. I'm
it
glad we had a similar reaction.
yeah, it starts off and it's very futuristic,
Mhm.
sci-fi.
I'm like, that's Milo Ventimiglia. That guy's in Gilmore Girls. He's in Heroes. I love that dude. And then the girl starts talking. And I'm like, that's Kieran Shipka from Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
Uh,
the Netflix show. I'm
yeah,
like, everything's coming up K. I was like,
I
this rules.
yeah, I did not pick up on that was Kieran Shipka. I recognized this guy.
Hmm.
Didn't know who he was though, but I recognized him. I was like, that's an actor. Yeah, then this hologram model pops up. Um and I could not figure out what the heck this was. Um
Literally was like, this game looks like incredible. I was like, I'm
I'm
so down to
I
play
I
whatever this is.
I I saw this stuff and I was just like this sci-fi stuff and I'm like, okay, like interesting, whatever. I kept seeing this butterfly fly around and I was like, I feel like I should know what that is, but I don't know. And then like it lands and like phases through the TV and then
Hmm.
he goes up, he taps on it, right? And then like stuff gets weird.
Hmm.
It was like
Really
this
weird.
sci-fi thing. The world here shatters and then all of a sudden I'm like, this is horror.
Hmm. I
what
was
is
like,
go-
is this a horror Mirror's Edge? Like, I was like, what's going on? Like the palette like kind of looked a little bit like it. I was like, what's going on?
and then this world bending stuff here and I was so into this. I was like, this is so interesting to me. This is like this has got to be a new IP. This is a new game. This is so cool. For a while I was thinking, oh, maybe it's a new Remedy game. Is it like a new
Hmm.
Control kind of
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna spoil it like a couple seconds early. This is Call of Duty Black Ops 7,
7.
and I felt so deflated.
Yeah, I literally, I just went, I just like was like, no,
No, yeah, like
no, they got me.
exactly. Like it's not
I've
even.
been
It's
had.
there's that meme where it's like, oh, they had us in the first half. You didn't have me in the first half. You had
Mm-hmm.
me up until the 2 minute warning,
Mm-hmm.
and then you threw in that this is Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and like
Yeah.
immediately my interest plummets
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just like I don't want this to be Call of Duty. Be anything but Call of Duty. Be something new, please. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Oh boy.
I think moving away from the show and paying attention and like thinking about this announcement, I'm a little more conflicted
Mm-hmm.
on how I feel about it. Because like on one hand, I'm still like, man, Call of Duty, come on, like why? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then on the other hand, I'm like, Call of Duty needs something. Like Call of Duty, I don't even did they their single player sometimes lacks. Sometimes it's decent. Um, this is the easily the most interesting looking a campaign for Call of Duty could look.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, part of me is like Call of Duty needed something, and so maybe it's cool that this is Call of Duty. Actually, I'm interested to think what Call of Duty people think of it. I bet they're hype, AF about this, but like
But like, are they? Because like, doesn't Warzone just give you anything like what most people want from Call of Duty now? Like, I
That's
know it's not, you don't get the traditional like PvP or whatever, but like,
I
I feel like
I
most people just play Warzone.
I do think that's another part of it is just like I would imagine Call of Duty people excited for this because it's like something that looks crazy and new and different. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I I think a lot of Call of Duty people are just gonna be like, fix Warzone, fix multiplayer, like something like that, you know. So I don't know. I thought this was a bad one more thing for
Yeah,
Xbox after a really good
yeah.
show.
Hmm.
Um,
And but
yeah,
that like also that at the same time like that's us in like the position that we're in for like what we like to play and whatnot. I'm sure there are people that were like, "Whoa, what the heck? This rules."
yeah,
Um, but us not being like this type of first person shooter like gameplay people that much anymore. Was a weird way to say that. Like it just obviously doesn't instill excitement, especially after it's a like a serialized one more thing. Like it's Black Ops 7. The one more thing would have been way more interesting to me if it was a new IP or a revived IP or
absolutely. Such a I
um
that's a really good point where like your one more thing being the next installment of a thing that comes out every year is not
yeah,
exciting. Or it's not
no, not
exciting.
at all.
It's not enough for a year one more thing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Um
I'm with you.
although after, you know, after going through that whole rundown of the Xbox showcase and how good I thought it was, I don't know if there's a game on here that I would be like, that should have been their one more thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, the Gears of War remake isn't a one more thing. I don't,
Hmm.
you had nothing for Persona 4, so that can't be your one more thing, I don't think. Uh,
Yeah, they didn't really have themselves in a position, I guess, like unless they wanted to talk about really early on that there was like, yeah, Halo remake is coming out. Like you guys know it's coming out, and it is like the Elder Scrolls 6 kind of thing of just being like Halo remake
yeah,
coming to.
there's a lot that they have in the pipeline that, like you said, that we
Mhm.
know that could have been here as a one more thing. Um, nothing in the show was a one more thing, but yet we could have gotten Elder Scrolls. We could have gotten
Mhm.
the next Halo, which yeah, we know it's being made in Unreal Engine 5. They changed
Mhm.
from like whatever they were using before and now they're just like we're just going to Unreal Engine. Um there was Perfect Dark.
Mhm.
Um
Which is a little bit in development hell, and I
yeah,
hope it will come out. But
they have Fable coming
yeah.
out, which wasn't here.
Mhm.
I don't think Fable fits as a one more thing. Um Domo says the Game Freak game. I don't think that's a one more thing kind of deal. I think the name Game Freak is for sure the the shock factor in that trailer for like the potential for like
Mhm.
the one more thing. Um I think it's a bigger one more thing if Xbox makes a bigger deal about them partnering with Game
Mhm.
Freak. I think if there's a bigger deal made of like Xbox's new relationship with Game Freak and like this is the first thing that we're doing together or something like that. Um I think that's a bigger deal. Uh but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I still think it was a good showcase. I think
Yeah.
the ending, and even this, like it begrudgingly does make me go, like, I'm kind of interested in checking out the single player of Black Ops 6. If it's, I mean, 7. If it's as weird as it seems, it's a Game Pass game, so most likely, I'm assuming, and they're not going to change their strategy overnight.
No, they did.
Um,
They said I'm fairly certain they said at the top of this show
yeah,
that every game in this will be available on Game Pass.
cool. Yeah. So yeah, as long as I can bring myself to want to download a 200 gigabyte video game, probably, which is a stretch, but maybe I will check it out.
Hmm.
I won't say no. I'm not saying like I will, but if
I
it's
actually,
weird enough, if it's neat enough.
it's not something that I thought about until just
Mhm.
saying this now, where like I'm pretty sure they did say all these games will be coming to Game Pass. Like that that really does kind of help the hype
Mhm.
because for me, someone who has Game Pass, like I'm already paying for Game Pass. I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about paying for any of these games because I'm already doing it, you know?
Hmm.
So that's cool because it's just like, yeah, it just needs to release and I can play it. And that's dope.
Like this is like well talked about, I think, on the internet by now, but I'll bring it up about the Game Pass thing. Is like there is like you look through this list and Xbox, this is a wider conversation that we don't need to really get into now, is very much on that $80 video game train. It was shown today that, or like yesterday, that Outer Worlds 2 will be an $80 video game, which is a
Yep.
lot to ask for a title like this, but that's just the way the industry is moving. That's just
Yeah.
capitalism. And it does suck that the anti-capitalist video game is going to be the first Xbox game to have that like hyper-capitalist price.
Yeah,
But Obsidian doesn't make the price. It's for video games. It's not their fault. It's
I
the publishers
saw
that
I
do
think
that.
it was Jeff Gerstmann when I was watching
Mm-hmm.
him talk about about stuff. He was very much like your jokes about capitalism
Mm-hmm.
don't they wear thin when you
Mm-hmm.
become $80.
Yeah.
Like you're
Which sucks because it's not like I don't know. Obsidian might have some say, but they don't have the final call on pricing.
no, I think most companies who are making the
Mhm.
games don't have a call on anything like that. Like I think
But
I haven't talked about Marvel Snap this much in a while. I think Marvel Snap was a good uh example of that for me, where like it was very clear, like in Marvel Snap, the economy in that game,
mm,
it was expensive. And I I truly believe, just from hearing from the developers, that was not their call. They were not making
yeah.
decisions on how
Mm,
much things cost, on how much different bundles cost. They were just putting together bundles
mm.
of stuff, and then their parent company was like, that costs this much money because we say so. Um,
Second dinner, right?
Second dinner, yeah.
Second, yeah. So,
I'm curious. I'm curious if things
in the
have
book,
changed.
in the Rise and Fall and Future of Blizzard book by Jason Schreier, there's a segment where they talk about Hearthstone, and it's very interesting to see Ben Brode, one of the lead developers of Hearthstone and lead developers, eventually started Second Dinner,
Hmm.
left Hearthstone specifically because he's like, we are gouging our players. Like he's like, the monetization of Hearthstone has gone out of whack. It doesn't fit like my vision of the game. I just want it to be a good game that people keep coming back to. And then it is like a little sad to see like him immediately faced with that same issue again, just
Yeah.
because of the nature of video games.
Yep.
Um, Sucks. You want to talk about Steam Next Fest? Just real quick.
Yeah. Steam Next Fest. That's our last topic for the day. Steam Next Fest
Video
kicked
games are
off.
cool. Video games are cool.
Video games are cool. Video games are fun. We should be playing
Hmm.
video games. Everyone
Hmm.
should be playing video games. Um, Steam Next Fest. I've been paying attention to Steam Next Fest for a little while now. I've tried out stuff from Steam Next Fests. I think it's like every 2 months or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, where there's a Steam Next Fest, which is basically just a week long uh interactive showcase, I guess I'll say, because it's just a bunch of demos on Steam. Hundreds of demos of upcoming games that you can play. And I've played some really cool ones in the past. Um, this Steam Next Fest is a delightful surprise for me, because I wasn't thinking about it because I was so focused on Switch 2 and Summer
Mm-hmm.
Game Fest. Um, so this was great. It's happening this week. You have started playing some games.
um, to back up a little bit, a lot of the games I almost like serendipitously got to realize it was Steam Next Fest because I was watching every single press conference from this past week. I watched the Southeast Asian Showcase, the Women-Led Gaming, the Wholesome, and all of these games I'm going, and I am a maniac on Steam. I wish list any game I have any interest in just because, one, it helps the developers, and two, I like video games. If I see something I want to know when it comes out kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm going through all of these showcases, wish listing stuff. I'm like, oh, there's a demo. And I'm like, that's so cool. I'll download the demo. And so I did this for a while, and then I realized what was happening, and then it was Steam Next Fest. I'm like, oh, this is perfectly worked out.
Yeah. Great
I have
timing.
played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've played 20 demos in the past 24 hours.
Jesus.
Some for as little as like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, like some for as long as like an hour and a half. Video games are cool. I can't look at another game right now though. I can't like with the desire to play it because I'm like a little burnt out of playing.
Yeah. You
Uh,
fatigued yourself on 20 games in like a day.
yeah. Especially when they're like all like new experiences, or even like they're all like this is this game but this version, which is what you get a lot from these Steam Next Fest. There's a lot of like this is your Souls like,
Here's
this
your
is your
top-down
demake
roguelike.
of this is Hades, like this is your platformer thing, this is your little silly thing. But I played through 20, and there are some games that are going to be instant buys for me.
Which include
I want to start with Unbeatable because it's like truly the game that I think is going to be like my could be in my top 5 games of the year. Like going into the end of the year, no spoilers, but I really think that it's something special. Has unbelievable style, unbelievable animation quality for what it's trying to do, and it's a rhythm game where you play as a punk band who, in a world where like music is illegal, and you just go around and you play music, and the rhythm game is really fun, really easy to get a hang of, and the cops come try to beat you up, and then you beat up the cops, and then the fascist regime are trying to get you, and there's like a lot of really good story things going on. You play baseball, like it's awesome. I love it.
You play baseball.
I can't wait. Yeah, you go to and you play baseball to the beat. It's really interesting. It's a really fun mini game. But I love that game. So that's an instant buy.
Yeah, the style is off the charts with this game. It looks dope.
Like all of the models for characters are like kind of 2D cutout, almost Paper Mario, like kind of think that, but you're like in that kind of 3D environment. And then it has like these cutscenes where everyone is more fluid and has so much like really, really good energy. The music is really good.
I didn't recognize if you said this in your description. Did you know about this game before this past weekend?
This one is a game that is been Day of the Devs like 2021 or something like that.
Okay.
Like that game, I remember seeing it and then putting it in the back of my mind, being like, yeah, that looks like it rules. And then just having kind of like nothing and nothing and nothing and nothing and nothing. Until I saw it again at one of the showcases, and I was like, heck yeah. I was like, I'm going to download this demo right now. And I immediately downloaded it, and I played it, and I went, give it to me now. I want more right now. Please, please, please.
It looks great. It's a beautiful game. I started wish listing a couple things, and some of it was already on my wish list for games that I want to play, but it pops up here. Mina the Holler, which you talked about.
Which we both played.
I've played a demo of it before, but I don't. It wasn't this. It for sure was not like the beginning of the game demo like this was. So I want to play that. I've got this game. I've got a few games like this. These I don't know why I'm on like this fishing game hunt, right? I'm fishing for fishing games. So this cast and chill, which is like I think it's one of those like bottom of your screen idle
Mhm.
semi-active fishing games, which is the same with this other game, Idle Waters. That's exactly what this is. This game, Idle Waters, is just like
Mhm.
it sits at the bottom of your screen while you do other stuff. Um, Moonlighter
There's a lot of
2.
those
Hmm?
in the showcases. I feel like every single showcase I watch, from the Australian one to like the all those ones, there was at least one bottom of your screen idler, and I was like, well, this is the year of the bottom of the screen
It's
idler.
a big thing suddenly. The first one that
Hmm.
I know of, and I think the one that kicked off this trend was Rusty's Retirement, which was like
Hmm.
a farming sim, a bottom of your screen farming sim.
Oh, okay.
Um, and like since then there have been like a bunch of other um bottom of your screen ones. But yeah, I've
Hmm.
got Moonlighter 2 on my wish list because
Hmm.
the first Moonlighter is cool and this one is
Agreed.
3D now. For anyone who doesn't know Moonlighter, by day you are a shopkeep. You set up your store, you set your prices, and then at night you go out adventuring into dungeons, and then you take back items and equipment and whatnot, and some of it you might keep for yourself, and some of it you can sell in your shop and in the little shop mini games at the beginning. And
Hmm.
then again, it goes to night. You go to a new dungeon, or you go to the same dungeon until you get to the boss or whatnot. It's cool. I got this weird cooking card game. This style of game is another one that like I've seen recently where it's just a board
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
cards. But the cards will have time. It's a very active game. Like this looks slow and turn paced, but typically these games are very active unless you pause it and to think. But you're typically like shuffling cards around, moving cards onto into different piles to make different combinations, to create new cards, or to get more money, to buy new packs of cards that could get you new things. There's a few games like that, and I like that concept of game. It's very cool. I lost my wish list because I hit back. Um,
Uh, un- yeah, you go.
last few I wanted to talk about Dispatch, which you've played.
Hmm. Yeah, you were in stream with me while
Mm-hmm.
I played it.
Morsels, which is like a top-down, like twin stick shooter, roguelike kind of
Hmm.
game. But the art style, I believe the artist is the same guy who did oh my gosh, what is that two-player game? You you run you try to run to the other side of the screen and you have swords and you're like fencing.
Joust, not Joust. That's Nidhogg.
Nidhogg.
Joust is the original Nidhogg.
Yeah, it's the
Ah,
I believe the artist who did Morsels is the same artist who did Nidhogg 2 art.
cool. Weird
Um
looking game then.
Ratatan, the Patapon,
Ratatan. I played that demo last night.
hell
Let me tell
yeah.
you, I'm not good at Ratatan.
This ball
Started
pit
figuring out,
this
but
ball
it's
pit
good.
game is interesting to me where it's like a little not quite breakout, but it's kind of
Mhm.
breakout-ish. What Void Breaker. That's cool one. I think
Mhm.
people should look into. Andy Cortez is super into that.
Mhm.
Um, the the Royal Writ. uh, Undermine 2, Windswept. There's a lot of games that I've got wishlisted, but I haven't played them yet. You have.
Yeah. Games that I played that I want to spotlight. Um, Blood Grounds is a tactics RPG management. Think a lot of Darkest Dungeon in this video game. You have the whole bit is that you got your freedom from being a gladiator. Now you're sponsoring other gladiators, in hopes to like kill the emperor of Rome or what have you. Um,
Sounds intense.
but the pixel art is beautiful, and like in the combat, like it's that kind of like I don't really know how to actually describe it, but it's really pretty. But you have your guys to go into a fight. You pick 3 for like a 1 Coliseum run. If they get hurt too much, they might have like a Darkest Dungeon like debuff where they're like traumatized and they can't fight in the next tournament without having to rest. So you have to have like a large pool of people. They might die, yada yada. City building stuff, really neat. Played an hour of that, and I was like, yeah, I get it. I like the game. It's good.
I do like this pixel art style. It looks nice. I like the way things
Yeah,
look
I
while they
couldn't.
move, and
Yeah, I couldn't really figure out how to actively explain it. There's a fluidity to it, and also kind of like
it
almost like a intentional glitchy like lookedness,
it's because it
fuzziness.
looks like they're actually 3D models,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't tell if they are. Which is cool. I like it. I like the way it looks. Um,
Uh, the another big one that just like going down the easy like this is like this is Constance, which is another very pretty looking game.
Constance. Mm-hmm,
Yes,
mm-hmm.
it's Metroidvania where you play as a girl with a paintbrush, and it is basically Hollow Knight. In a lot of ways, it's Hollow Knight.
Immediately,
Uh,
it looks a little Hollow Knighty. It looks a little
but I had a lot of
Hollow-like.
fun. Yeah, Hollow like. Played about 30-40 minutes. It's hard. There's a lot of like precision platforming in it as well. That's not the easiest to like really to like execute. So just you got that challenge aspect to it, and it has good combat, and the story you get like an inkling of it, but you don't really like. That's not the selling point of the game, I don't think.
There's inklings in this game.
You do. Your dash is
It
a
does.
you.
It does
Yeah,
very much look like that. Yeah, I can
yeah.
see. I
Your
was just
dash
seeing
is
that
like an
on
inkling
screen.
thing. Yeah, it's a very pretty game though. Like the sprite work, or no, it's not a sprite, but like the character
The
artwork is
animation.
very pretty. Mm, yes. And it is a lot of like, yeah, I don't know, like the trailer is selling it more than I think I ever could.
Yeah, it is pretty. It looks
Um,
cool. Very hollow like.
mm,
Um, which I asked you. I don't remember where I said this on the internet. I think I said it multiple times. But at this point, with like the amount of like Metroidvanias that come out that look like Hollow Knight specifically,
mhm,
I'm waiting for the kids to stop saying Metroidvania and to say Hollow like.
mhm.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
you
waiting
definitely
for.
DM me this question and you ask me when does that change, and I go, and now maybe I'm like, it's now. Maybe we're in the Hollow Knight, the Hollow Lake phase.
This is they're no longer Metroidvanias, they're Hollow likes. How can
Mm,
you call something a Metroidvania when we haven't had a Castlevania in forever?
mhm. Um, what else? Demon School uh is a game that I've been excited for a long time. It's on Steam Next Fest. It's basically Persona 2. Like it's the old school Persona. You have like it's a little kind of like a tactics kind of grid based combat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have a like AP meter where like it instead of combat taking turns, it's like you take your turn and like you get to move all of your people, and then like once you hit the button, it just makes like everything happen at once. So there's a lot of really cool fluidity to like watching one character you sent to punch one guy and the other one to like shoot another guy, all kind of happen like simultaneously on the screen. Um, but it has a cool art style. It's very it's just Persona 2. The demons are at school. There's life sim parts where you like go fishing. You love fishing now.
Yep.
Um, you go to school. You like all of
Whoa.
the skills that you learn are like you take classes to learn your new skills, your new power up. Um, and so like it will be like, oh, you'll like in after 5 days of classes, you'll now learn this new ability. It's really cool. It's
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
Um, then I don't want to talk about too many more because I could talk forever about the
Let's hit
20 games I played.
let's hit one more. What's your last big
Oh,
one
my last big
that
one.
you've either played or are looking to play?
Um, Man, but now I can't talk about Dono's Tale. Uh, yeah, I
You don't
don't.
want to talk to Domo about Dono?
Yeah, let's talk about Dono. Yeah, that's a good thing. I hope Domo's still here to see Dono.
Dono's
Dono's Tale's
Tale.
adorable. It's cute. The music is really good. It is really good.
Yeah, you you described this to me as a Yoshi's Island like.
It is a Yoshi's Island like. You have a flutter. You
Oh,
have a normal jump, but you have a flutter jump too.
mm-hmm.
It is very pretty.
Oh,
It
you
is
do
very
have a
fun. It
flutter.
is
Wow.
Yoshi's Island like. You do have an ability. Your like your X attack and your Y button. Y is like kind of your utility. So you switch between like a claw attack, a melee one, a fire breath one, and I don't remember the last one on top of my head. And then you have three movement ones. One is like you kind of dolphin electrocute the floor to move faster. The another one is the flutter jump, and the third one is a shield. And so like you are constantly like the game, it starts off super simple like a Yoshi's Island does, and then eventually you are like quick turning and like using multiple abilities as fast as possible in order to actually platform and actually the last level of the demo is against a classic, the wall is coming and you have to move right as fast as possible um kind of thing going on, and you have to use a lot of movement tech in order to do such a thing. It's fun, it's cute, it's adorable. Dono's cool.
Yeah, it looks like Yoshi's Island,
Let's climb. That's what the third movement
but
tech is.
very fast. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
you could potentially like cruise through that game.
And it does seem to have that quickness in mind. Each level has a time trial mode as well, and each level like it wants you to go fast. It's also it didn't show it, but it has like a Donkey Kong Country, like it has like Dono in letters that you find throughout the map.
Oh, you found the Dono.
Yeah, like Kong,
Mm-hmm.
but cute game, adorable game.
I'm excited for the mod scene to get to it and put Domo in it instead. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll have Domo's tale.
Um, Yeah, and then other than that, there's a bunch of other games. Like I'm not gonna talk in length as I did. Phase Zero is a good Resident Evil clone. Prison of Husk is like Resident Evil One. Prison of Husk is like what if Dark Souls existed on the N64. Rue Valley is the first game in this Disco Elysium likes that we're getting out. Uh, uh, Tori Saturn is like a Sonic Adventure kind of clone. Um, Video games are cool. There's so many of
There's
them.
a lot of video games and there's a lot of video games to play. I
Mm-hmm.
think my plan is I made a document for myself for game trailers for this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and I might put that out there to share so people can like have my personal curated list of game trailers. Also, maybe we put out a list for Steam Next Fest games that either
Mm-hmm.
we have played or we're interested in or we recommend people play or whatever.
Yeah, I'm down.
We can put out a little document with that before the end of the week. That way, people actually have time to look into any of our suggestions. Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
That's the show, I think, right?
That's the show. That's it. We did it again.
Did
Um,
it.
we've never had a
The
better show
longest one. It's true. And we're never gonna have a worse show.
because we're never having another show. No, I'm just kidding.
No, bump. No, no.
No, no, no. We'll be back next week. I think things are going to start regulating for us a little bit
Mm-hmm.
now that the big events are out of the way, the console launch, Summer Game Fest stuff. Um, so it'll be, I think it'll feel a little different moving forward. Um, because I think we'll just have like a larger variety of things to talk about. Or no,
Yeah, and it won't be as like it will be more segmented,
yeah,
segmented.
we'll have a larger variety of topics that will like maybe dive into a little deeper potentially. Um,
Mm-hmm.
or also potentially it might not be 3 hours long like today
Yeah,
is. This was super long. I'm
super
starving.
long. You are starving. You got work soon. We got to do the game though soon.
I gotta go to work soon. We'll do the game deal real quick, but I guess for now we'll sign out of the show. We'll say goodbye to YouTube.
No.
Um, and we'll just hang out for like another like 20 minutes or so in chat. Uh, so if you
Made me
if
disappear again.
if you for some reason see this on YouTube, check out twitch.tv/CParks. Um, so yeah, so that's it. My name is CParks. Who are you?
I'm Golden Roach Day, but I don't know if you can see me on the screen
God
yet.
damn it!
Again,
Why? You're there. Um.
I'm here. Okay, cool.
All right.
I'm
So
Golden Roach K.
yeah, this was the park bench. Technically, episode 2, June 10th.
Our third episode.
Uh, go play some video games.
Yeah, go play some video games.
Bye.
Yield my time.
I hope my hotkey works.
Yeah, I can't wait till I make an outro song. I got our intro song.